Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to TCG University. It's me, Noah, here with...
James.
And Oliver.
Look, I didn't steal his and this time. He's got to be proud of me.
Yeah.
We're here...
And James.
God damn it. We're here doing a tier...
We're here with a robot.
Fix now? Haha.
We're here with a really cool robot, guys.
Yeah, Noah.
So while he's doing that, we're going to do a tier list today. We're going to be talking about, I took and made a list of like everything we could really think of deck-wise when it came to Final Fantasy. We left off a couple things and we'll probably throw them in, or if we think about things that aren't on our list, we'll throw them in later. But it's everything I could think of pre this set, along with a couple of the spoilers and what we knew that was going to bring to the game with this set. We have a full list. I don't know if Noah has it on screen because we're not streaming this, so I can't look and see if he has it on stream.
Well, question.
I don't even know if Noah's alive right now.
What if his system...
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if he goes down, then the recording goes down, James. So,
That is also true.
So, like, we could
But it sounds like Noah's back.
Like, we could each technically record it from our side, but, you know, that's a lot of
Gross. I don't want to do that.
I'm set. I'm good.
Okay.
You good?
Yep.
Okay, so I sent everybody to the thing, so everybody has their tier list.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Are we starting with...
I can't load mine without already loading the one I started with, so where do you guys want to start?
WOFF is the first thing I have on here. I'm just going to go
The first thing on...
in order.
You have this link, so I think me and Oliver kind of already have ours sort of sorted out.
Yeah.
So WOFF. WOFF has a lot of cool things, but I will always vouch for WOFF, but WOFF is not very high on my list currently.
WOFF is one of the first competitive decks I started with. So I think there's only one real route to play WOFF, which is currently... Rain. Well, yeah, but I mean color-wise, it's going to be fire and earth.
Yeah, it's
the
fire,
ice is cool, but
there's
the
no
ice isn't
other.
worth playing.
You could also almost get away with fire, mono fire, almost.
Almost, true. But like you really need that WOFF searcher, because if you don't see rain, you're kind of like screwed.
Yeah.
And then you have to play defense on her and whatnot. I think WOFF, as cool as it is, because rain is the linchpin of that deck and she's very easy to deal with, I don't think WOFF has a really standing chance.
Though Frida just got a new Ifrit to work with.
I do also want to state that this is coming from a more competitive mindset that we have on this, I believe, at least for me. I don't know about you guys.
This could be a full competitive. This was for me a full competitive thing.
Yeah.
It was
WOFF,
not a how much, because if it was how much we like it, this WOFF's an S tier for me.
WOFF used to be an S tier. Mini opuses ago, but WOFF is now. I think you can do okay in a local with WOFF, but I don't think you're ever getting any further than like a second or third place with WOFF at most.
James, I hate me.
WOFF's in D tier.
I put mine in D. I put WOFF in D.
Yeah.
Yeah, its main core mechanic is one card, and if you don't see that one card, the rest of your cards don't really mean anything.
Oh, I could reset. Never mind, I figured it out. Okay.
Cool. Next one. Sid FFBE.
Sid FFBE. This would be the obvious Grishella abuse.
The water.
Oh,
the
it's
water
just the crystal deck?
Yeah.
The water wind crystal deck.
The obvious abuse the fuck out of FFBE to do advantage.
I'm currently saying B tier. We do have to come to some sort of a consensus on these tiers. I'm saying B tier.
Especially on yours. Yeah.
Because I'm the one showing.
Especially for yours.
Yep. Yeah.
I say B.
For me, honestly, B minus. I would put B minus.
Okay, that's fair. I don't disagree with that.
Because it's a linchpin on still him needing to be on board with Grishella and have the crystals to do it.
Yeah.
There's a couple of moving pieces that need to exist.
Yeah. There's a couple other cards, but like your main goal at the end of the day is to have Sid FFBE and Glaciella both on the board, because
they don't do a very good job of protecting themselves.
Yeah, there's too many variables that you have to set on board to make this deck function.
So I went with B minus.
Okay, cool. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Next one, Rampier.
C.
Rampier at C tier. Honestly, with the new cards that are out, specifically Ignis, I almost feel like because we have another viable way of popping Rampier that also nets you something to play off a Rampier, I would almost put him at a B minus.
I think
Still just don't think he has the pieces.
I think Rampier has the
thing,
pieces, right? Oh, go ahead, Oliver. You're the Rampier player.
Yeah. So I think if you're just focusing your deck to just do Rampier things, I think you're doing a disservice to the card. You can't just do Rampier things because you're so limited on what you do. The best thing you can do is play other cards that help you. So like in my deck, I play Hooded Man because I need early pressure, and Hooded Man is a haster that just has early pressure. I don't need to use his ability immediately because if he dies throughout the game, that's fine because he'll set up another Hooded Man. You have other pieces you can play, but you have to know what colors you're playing under because that's what's going to make your Rampier deck a lot better. Because your floor is Rampier, but you don't have to do Rampier things in that deck in order to be like functioning. Because there are games where I don't even see Rampier because I don't see Claris, and I still play effective games where I play against, like this weekend I played against I believe I played against Soiree and I played fine, and I was like, oh, that's fine. But also my deck was kind of kicking me this weekend, so I was also playing like really badly. But I played into other things that like I didn't see Rampier. That's fine. I have other modes to play in. So if you're just doing mono Rampier things, I think yes, Rampier is very low on the floor. But it's all dependent on what other cards you play with the deck, because that's what's going to get you through most of your game. And if you Rampier, you Rampier. If you don't, you just don't.
I just don't feel like that's a Rampier deck. Then that's just like a color deck.
Well, no.
Lightning,
So
whatever color you play deck.
The way I look at it is, it's Lightning Earth with a Rampier package, right? You don't play a Rampier engine. That's not what makes the deck run, but the package is very effective. Yeah. Because you realistically just need Rampier.
That's not a Rampier.
You have to classify it into something, and if most of your stuff is Cat 11 Rampier stuff, then you have to classify it as a Cat 11 Rampier deck.
Maybe I'm crazy, but because Rampier was like super popular at the time that WOFF was roaming about, but like even then it wasn't a fully Cat 11 deck to call it a Rampier deck, right? Like because
the cool combo you wanted to do was break Rampier.
Yeah, which is still part of that deck. Like Rampier is the number one part of Oliver's deck.
The weakest part of that deck is Rampier.
Why? So why do you think Rampier
the weakest part of that deck is Rampier though? Because if the other parts of the deck is what's getting the job there, Rampier's your win more card. That's not your deck.
And so you don't need to Rampier in order to win the game. There are multiple games where I played where I don't Rampier.
Yeah, but when Rampier was a deck, Rampier was your win condition. Rampier set up your game to win.
Oh,
it doesn't do that anymore. It doesn't do that anymore.
It facilitates your game plan. It says
I just don't feel like it is. I just don't feel like that's the Rampier deck then.
So do you think Rampier? Do you think Rampier? Where do you think Rampier needs to be placed, James?
In my opinion, just C. I think it's still fine. I don't think it's terrible.
I want to agree with Oliver on B-.
You can. I don't care. That's fine. I'm
just trying to come to a consensus
my point.
With it. I think Rampier has, in general,
2 out of 3 bases. How's that? We just go 2 out of 3 bases.
That's fine. I think the argument here more is what classifies a Rampier deck than even a Rampier. Like Oliver's deck, I would consider a Rampier deck. It goes wherever it should go. Do we think? Here's the question: do we think Rampier is better than the Sid FFBE Glacialia Crystal deck?
I think it's better because you don't need as many pieces in order to be effective with that deck.
You just need Rampier and Cat 11.
I can agree with that. If we're putting in the B-, I'll agree with that.
That's
only
fine.
Because Chimera's a one-drop that busts Rampier for no reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the like Ignis.
And the new Ignis
is not bad.
Because Ignis says pop Rampier, pick up a dude, play a dude, and break a forward, basically. So Ignis makes himself cost 3, technically, breaks a dude, and then plays you a dude in the process.
Yeah.
I'm done. Next one is Folka. Mono Water Folka summons.
A-.
I was thinking A- as well. I think Folka can top consistently.
I don't think it's as good as a couple of the other water builds, but I still don't think it's. I think it's better than a lot of the other decks in the format.
I will say I almost think it. I don't know how I feel about it yet because I haven't seen play of it obviously, and I haven't seen.
Nobody plays Folka anymore, which is very weird to me.
But I think that Mono Water Folka with the new Yuna isn't terrible either. Because both of them say pitch a summon to save themselves, which is cool. And if you play enough recursion, if you're going to cast the summons anyways, Yuna just draws you another card.
I'm gonna flame Connor on this podcast because we talked about this in Vegas. But like, we're gonna run into, we have Folka for summon, basically like Folka water. We have Realm for monster water. We have Mono water, which I think is, I have Lena, and then we have Glacialia. Oh, we have Glacialia, which is crystal mono water, and then we have Leo, which is Leo mono water.
Yeah, we have a lot
which
of
are
mono
all
water
very similar decks, but I think the point of them is very different across all 6 of them.
How you get your game plan or how you want to
so
win
much
is
more
so different
in every single one of those builds. And Connor's just like, it's not mono water Lena. All of them are bad. Get them out of here. And I'm like, you're nuts.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, because water
I still
is
think Lena's the better one.
Water is the most flexible within its monocolored.
You could, I mean, honestly, I think Leo's the better one just because Leo can still play Lena and do nuts of stuff with her and himself really easily.
The only reason I actually honestly want to put Leo in the B. I'm just talking about it now because we mentioned it, but I think I want to put Leo in B strictly because he lost Sildra, and Sildra gave him the entire flexibility to color to number
Sildra gave
fix.
every mono water the ability to go from A+ to S to fucking A-.
Yes, but it actually mattered for Leo because he needs the number fix on top of.
I lied. I'm putting Folka. I would want to put Folka in B+ only because she did lose Sildra, and Sildra's a summon, which is very, very integral for the summon.
I can understand. I can understand that.
That's why I put her in B+ myself, is because she lost a major summon to get her consistent.
I just don't think Mono Water losing Sildra will hurt it that badly, especially even Folka.
It's not that bad, but it's a good piece that every Folka deck plays. So
I mean, I think every Mono Water plays.
I need somebody to explain to me, sorry for the yawn, which Refia Warrior Light deck
this is just going to be Warrior of Light Refia build, like Warrior of Light Refia.
Light Refia?
Yes,
Light Refia. I'm going Light Refia. I'm just going base Warrior of Light's cool combo Warrior of Light, like Warrior of Light.
I put this one in B-.
I'm gonna hate
because I think you'd rather.
I think she's a C.
I also do.
I think the Water Refia just pushes your deck a lot faster.
Noah, I'm going to give her B-. You ready?
Okay.
Medine.
Not
Warrior of Light
enough.
Medine.
Not efficient enough.
No, not at all.
I can't do it. Because the issue.
I also kind of think she's C.
Here's the issue I have is one. As cool as it is that on play she plays the dude and can net you a card back by like playing Arc or whatever, it's really cool.
4 dudes is very hefty.
4 dudes is very hefty instead of 4 characters. She also is a light card that can clog up your hand. She also costs 5 to play. She also is super easy to break with things like Fenrir or Fenrir or Fenrir.
Fenrir. Yes.
Take it from the one who played it in the Crystal Cup.
Yep.
It's rough when you see 3 Refias in your hand, because I think I played into someone and Noah looked at my hand and he's like, "That's rough, buddy." I was like, "Yeah, it is really rough."
Zuko to Sokka, my guy, that's rough.
I couldn't, I had to literally let my opponent break my own Refia or keep my Refia up and block with it so I could play another Refia to go find like a Lunette or something.
Yep. The fact that she says forwards makes it a lot harder because now, I mean, realistically, what you could play is you could play Bart's Refia, or not Ignis, Bart's Refia, Arc, and
what is it, Soul
Lunette.
Or Soul?
Yeah,
and Soul as well,
can
whatever.
Get you free plays.
But like now, with the new, which I wish we had put this one on here, Loki, because it'd be higher in my opinion. But with the new Water Refia, she says
I think
Soul can play her, which is nuts.
Yeah.
And then she might not remove a card, but her ability to bottom deck a card and then be like, oh, because I bottom decked one of your dudes, I'll go to attack and draw a card essentially is nuts.
Also, that card is so good into Ice Lightning because she just restands your Warrior of Light. So even if they get doled down, you're just like, they stand.
They have to blank
like
it or else you stand your board.
We're going to end up with a bunch of things that aren't on this list. Like that style of Refia is not in this list because honestly, it wasn't one of the things we thought of at the time.
Yeah, but that style of Refia, I think I would put that Refia at B+, if not A-. You can get there.
So,
and you can even lower your color count too. So that way you're just playing water, fire, wind. Yeah. And then you're just playing 3 colors instead of the new decks are playing 4 color.
I mean, if you want to play wool in it, you can. It's not impossible, but well. I hate that card so much. I'm refusing to play that in decks. Which might hinder me, but like whatever, I'll handicap myself. So yeah, currently for that reason, I'm putting the light Refia Warrior light deck in C.
I get that. Also, honestly, I would have probably put the other Warrior light in C as well. I think I would have to see it do better to put it any higher, because obviously we're gonna have a lot of like, it sounds really cool, but like so does have easy 4 dudes, because like Bartz in the soul into anything else to play Refia Nyx.
Well, that Refia
not
also
hard, but
at least she says you don't need to have 4 forwards. You just need to have 4 Warrior Blight. So like it's better in some aspects.
Meaning you could get away with playing the Luneth backup. I mean, if that's like the only viable reason I think you want to play a 4CP Luneth backup. It's just
it opens up your door to not having to play so many forwards.
Yeah.
So many locked forwards, right? You have to lock into them.
No, we're not there yet, James. Next one. Verstale, but I don't know what kind of Verstale build this is, so walk me through it, people.
Just Verstale. I don't think Verstale right now ever leaves like Icefire. I just don't.
Okay, so if that's the case, I'm putting
Verstale,
this at B-.
That was also where I was going to put it. Here's the thing. I either think this is at the front of B- or at the back of B-. Because either this is some hot shit popping off, or you're dead drawing for days.
Yep. Yeah. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You gotta hope the hope, man.
It is Verstale, the epitome of a glass cannon deck almost. Because it's all high dudes that are just high rolling into things.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't play good defense. It just hits damage and hopes it hits the experts to go off again.
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah. Your defensive card is the Dark Emperor. That's it.
And that's because it doesn't leave the board. It's because it doesn't leave.
It's because it doesn't get.
Actually, you get Jekt now. Jekt's a very cool target. Because if it leaves, you play Braska or Filia.
Yeah, and you can play Braska and Filia, but like that.
So like Jekt's not terrible, but again, those are aggro moves.
Yeah, those are so aggro that you're just like, hey, here you go, bud.
The reason I'm really excited for it is it also gets to play the 5-drop Arden.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you need the backups. You need to guarantee you can get 2 backups.
You're gonna play.
One backup.
You're
gonna
play a cell, and you're gonna play like cheap backups that'll like net you just slight advantage. Like even if it's just like draw 2, discard 1, or like draw discard. Any like 2-drop that's gonna do just a slight thing. Give haste with like Sage, and then all you have to do is I don't need a cell or this anymore. Pop it, tap, play Arden, pop these 2. Do cool things, and then you go, I'll ditch 2, play this other Assail in my hand, search another target. It actually makes more use out of your Assails than the Arden deck could do before.
Yep.
Or the Verstale deck could do before.
Yep.
But I still think it's a glass cannon, so like...
Next one. Ninjas, I assume, right?
Yeah.
B+.
Just base ninjas. I actually was going B. I don't think it's better than Mono Water.
I think Ninjas outpaces Folka faster than Folka can get somewhere.
I can understand.
Because Ninjas has access. Man. Ninjas has access to Yuffie, and no matter what you do, once Yuffie goes off, you don't touch Yuffie again. Generally speaking.
But Mono Water has ways of just dealing with that immediately, though.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem I have is
the issue I see is
Yuffie's like the only good thing on it.
Well, I think there's more. So we've all played against Chris, right?
Yeah.
So some of the key cards I think that are very important. Yuffie's one.
Yeah.
Yaguri's another because it just says ditch 2 dudes to break a dude. That's fine.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like it's pay 4 to break, which is whatever. But it's also just the fact that Edge sits there making almost anything you want to do a trade value because of the shurikens.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll block with something and then shuriken with Edge.
I think Mono Water's bouncing just slowly gets around that. I think it's the biggest problem I have with that matchup.
Well, here's the issue with Mono Water's bouncing is that almost everything in Ninjas is super cheap. So it almost doesn't matter if you bounce it back because as long as they can put Edge, like if you're going to bounce the Edge, you're messing up because they just put Edge back down and they're like, okay, cool. Like,
it all depends on the counters. Like if they have something to hit for that turn and then want to play something else, the counters matter.
I do think both. I think it's it might be like a 70-30 or maybe like a 60-40 matchup depending. With like I think Ninjas come out on top majority of the time personally against Folka.
I think what comes out first.
Yeah, but I think especially because of Yuffie and Yuffie's Doom of the Living and all that, like The Ninja deck just has an easier way of grinding through than or pushing through than the Water deck, just kind of grinding the game down with Folka. So that's why I say B+. But if we want, I'm down to move it to B and just leave it there.
I just don't think it consistently beats Folka enough to warrant B+, right?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. You can put it in B.
The other issue is, like, we can go through later and then switch them around if we feel like they can beat other certain decks inside of the tiers or whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, we can go back through and confirm it.
What type of monk deck is this? Because I got shit to say depending.
Honestly, I was just doing base monks. Again, this is one of the things where, like, I wasn't splitting it between Earth, Fire,
you can just
Earth.
kind of fix it however you want it to be.
I just don't think they're too different enough to matter tier list wise.
So if it's Fire Earth, if we're cool just saying Fire Earth is
Sure.
any monk deck we'll say, but Fire Earth is probably the one I would think of the most. I would put this at a B- personally, because under Fire Earth you gain access to infinite Sabins, and you have Edgar to pick them up, and Sabin being a monk just meshes with the deck and he's searchable. Bosch exists. You have the new Fire Monk.
Is Bosch a monk?
No,
but he's Fire Earth, and so like
it just fits
he
in.
gets you. He just grabs you a dude.
You have
like,
Idolus, who can play you Sabin, so you can Aura Cannon for free. He also can play Garland if you want to throw Garland in the deck, because you can be blowing up backups with Ursula. Yang is Yang. He's cool. But like the cooler thing, in my opinion, from what I've here, hold on, let me pick this up, because I have my work in progress. Fire Earth monks. The new Ignis, I think, excels the deck even better, because you just break a backup, and if like
here's
you
the
can
thing.
pick up a Sabin.
I think that makes Mono Earth even nuttier.
Mono Earth.
Yeah, just Mono Earth.
I mean, sure, break a Raubon for all I care. It's hilarious.
Like, you also get to play the free backup under Earth too, because all of it's just mono.
But here,
like,
listen to me. One of the coolest things, I think, is that the new. I'm just gonna showcase it up here. The new Opus 19 2CP Fire Monk backup. Not only does it give somebody an attacking forward plus 4K, so like you can almost beat over anything you need because you're playing monks.
Well, you can also just power it up for Ursula.
You also, at damage 3, if you play Ursula and you play this card at damage 3, you get to 7K something for literally nothing. Because it does that when it enters at 7K something, and it just helps fuel, and it's just more monk targets. Like, I think it's cool. Vargas is really nice if you can make Vargas big, which you can if you have an Ursula on board. You pop a dude to make Ursula big, and then Vargas triggers and gains 3K. You swing with Vargas and force something to block him.
I'm not sure it's better than the 3 we have. Well, I also don't agree with the Rampier, but I also don't think it's better than what we have in B- currently.
I think it's
like
better
just out of Sid and Verstale.
So I think it's better than Sid in B- personally. I think Verstale, it kind of ties around.
The problem with we lost him again.
I expect.
Okay. Maybe? He sounded weird for a second. I just don't think it, like, the problem with Verstale is Verstale can't be... Verstale is here in B-, but I don't think we should measure by Verstale.
No,
I think Verstale's there because Verstale is just that...
Sorry, did I say Verstale or did I say Rampier?
He can't represent what makes B-. He just is at B-. It's a very weird thing because, like, Verstale's a glass cannon, and it's very easy to beat Verstale in certain matchups. But in an overall, Verstale is sit at like B-, and I don't think that's a good way of measuring is just beating Verstale. Sid FFBE, I get that's more of like a rounded deck. I can get that, and I can understand the Rampier too. I don't know how it consistently beats or consistently like gets around FFBE. Just because Crystal Control, just monks.
I think monks can set up faster, or if it doesn't set up faster, it has an explosive turn of setting up where the Crystal Control doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You also get access under, at least under fire when you play monks, which is where I'm like purely going with this right now. You get access to Ratsu to just tell anything that has
awesome,
gain a crystal. No, like.
So here's the thing, right? Did FFBE Crystals wants to play a more mid-range, slower game. They want to get themselves set up. Monks, there have been games where I just see Noah play his monk deck, and he's just like, I have to go in? Sure, I'll just go in. And he, like, pounds you for 4 damage,
monks,
and, like, they can play at any damage. Any damage they want to play at, they're fine. As long as it's 1, Yang is always good.
Yeah.
As long as they're 3, Like a lot of
Yang's
their
even
cards
better.
are really freaking good. So like that's the thing I see is like Sid FFBE, if they get slammed for damage, they're in a rougher situation than Monks as a deck. Monks as a deck can play at any damage and they're fine.
I
Like,
will
they
say,
can play.
one of the best things about Monks is that it's hyper recyclable.
That is also true.
Because Ursula and the
Monk's
3
always
CP
been
Monk backup
hyper
exist.
recyclable.
So realistically, I could, if I wanted to, turn 1 be like, I'll pitch 2 Monks, and then I'll play this 3 CP Monk, and I'll pick 1 back up. I pay 2 CP for this 3 CP backup that can create a fight trigger.
I'm gonna put it. I'm fine with putting it up there, only because I think it can win. I think it depends on who's in the lead. I think if the Sid FBE gets the lead, I think it controls the game too much. But I also understand Monks is going to be way faster most of the time.
I will,
or at least some of the time.
I will concede.
And I think he can get around that.
Sid FFBE, with the way I play my Fire Earth Monks, really does hurt me a bit. Only because if I'm going to free play a dude, Sid's going to shoot it. But that's only realistically off Yang, and it doesn't hurt that much.
The other, or Ursula.
Yeah, I could just beef her up if I needed to.
That's also true. Here's the other thing: the FFBE shot, like his special, if you just aim it at Ursula, costs the Monks way too much to deal with.
It does.
I think that's what evens out that matchup at that point is Ursula control doesn't work versus FFBE if they're both on the field. Because you have to pay too much as a Monk to survive that.
Yeah.
But I think Monks has an easier time if it wants to overload the board and can do it. It could do that. So I think it depends on who gets the advantage quicker.
Yeah, I think if Monks just sets up, like, even just having, like, a Mott, a Yang, and an Ursula on board, that's already faster than Sid FFB.
Yeah.
Because, like, they don't have to see that. Plus, they inherently search each other, while in wind, water, or crystals, it's so hard to search for something in that deck.
Actually, I actually think it's going to be easier this next format just because of
Materia.
Materia, yeah. I think Materia actually speeds this deck up a little bit.
Yeah, it speeds up a little bit.
I don't know how much better it's going to be.
I don't think it's going to be as fast as you think. I think
I also don't think so. I think it might move it up to like B though.
The issue I see is I'll stand by this till the day I die if I die on this hill, but I don't think any crystal deck personally is worth playing unless you're going to play a copy of Engelbert's as well.
Here's the thing.
2 free crystals is nuts.
I want you to know, you can do that with the Materia. The Materia says you can play 2. Engelbert gets you 2 crystals.
Yeah.
And since you're playing the Materia...
Materia gives you 1 on enter, and then you have to wait a turn. Engelbert's immediate.
Well, I'm saying you can play both. It doesn't matter.
Engelbert also gives you protection.
He does give you protection off of it, which is...
I'm saying you can play both in a crystal deck and get away with it, so it won't matter.
Yeah.
Next one, what is this? Realm
This
Monsters?
is Mono Water Monsters.
Mono Water Monsters. Why is my mouse...
I put a B+.
I'm going A-. I think monsters are getting nuttier and nuttier every single day. And there's not enough monsters.
Hold on. What's our backup lineup look like in this deck?
It's base water It's just base water.
Okay.
Sarah into... I guess you don't have to play Sarah. You can play whatever you want. But you get...
Sarah into Gordon.
You get
the base... Waka is very nuts. You can play...
How are we replaying our monsters?
You don't need to replay them. They die. And then Realm replays them. Realm plays 2 on play. She searches.
She searches.
Let me look real quick just to make sure.
Blue Mage and Quanch are the only things I see in
Quanch
Mono Water
definitely does.
Do it, but Quanch doesn't even play them. Quanch adds it back to hand because they're not forwards.
Well, water has an easier time playing things, though.
A lot of water monsters just either they replace themselves, so like
they draw
I
you
don't see a
cards.
problem.
The issue is when they're dead, like if your opponent's able to like kick off like 1 or 2 of them somehow, like what do you do to? Because see, one of the strongest things about the monster decks is that Larcacus is able to essentially replay any monster you need, right? You just play another Larcacus or you play another Mira. But if you're playing Mono Water, you don't really get that chance. That's where I'm like a little hesitant on this, and I think it's a cool deck, but like I just don't think I think the monsters carry too much. But if they deal with the monsters,
here's the thing: you also get to play Quina. You don't have to play 3 of obviously, but
Quina's
you get away with playing Quina.
I only say this from experience. Quina is too slow.
I think Quina as like a 1 of is fine, right? She does what she needs to do, and the remove 3 to do a thing gives you use in your discard.
If you want to do ice and water, I won't disagree because I played Ice Water monsters, and even without like the heavy recursion, it's really solid. And Quina feeds off Go-Go for a draw 2 at the end of every turn by discarding a monster.
You also get to play. I also think it's really nuts if you wanted to play Fisher or Raider.
Yep.
Both are very decent back.
This might be
I actually think
hot
Fisher's too much.
in our group right now, but I don't think mono water monsters, especially if you're banking off of the 5 CP realm, is worth playing enough to, or even going to get you as far unless you're putting in a second element. I put this at a C in my opinion, but I want to hear your guys' whole. I think mono water is cool. I just don't think the monster package by itself in mono water is worth it. Unless you're playing like some other ultimate card to kill with and not realm to like replay monsters.
I don't think it's weaker than Folka. I think it's at least the same strength as Folka.
I think it's weaker than Folka, especially given the fact that on resolution of the monster becoming a forward, you can just bounce it back.
Yeah.
And Folka's playing so much bounce, there's no reason Folka doesn't play Tros and just net a card back for doing it too.
Yeah, but I mean, you get to do some of the same things that Mono Water does in monsters. Tros still nets you a card because you still get to play Leviathans and stuff. You still get to do that. It's not like you're not playing summons.
Yeah, no, I get that.
You still play Lina.
You have I don't think your board's as strong.
Yeah.
If you're
I think
playing
your board
just
is reliant more on having more dudes, like doing the whole I have 3 blue worm, swing with all of them type of thing.
Well, yeah, but you have to get there first, right?
I don't think you play this realm.
I think it's slower. This one just plays you 2 things, so like you get to play.
I'd rather play the realm that bounces your monster back because it bounces your blue worm back in your hand.
For you guys, I'll B- it, but I don't think it's anything higher than a C personally.
Yeah, I put it at low B+ because
that's where I put it at the bottom of B+ right now.
It's just like it's on the cusp of being B+ to B, but that's if I put it at B+ because its floor is not as like low as like a lot of other inconsistent decks.
I just think you get to play better defense because you don't have to worry about your forwards dying.
Yeah.
You never have to worry about forwards dying.
We have Dragoons, I'm assuming.
Yep. Yes.
A.
Solid B.
I think Dragoon's a solid A.
I put it in A.
Okay.
Only because so first off, I'm just giving a guess, but I think in like the next 2 sets, Dragoons is gonna get a really nice fucking buff card if they're gonna put 16 cards in, because fuck, what's his name? There's a new Dragoon in Final Fantasy 16 who is also.
Spoilers!
I'm not gonna spoil anything else. That's all you need to know. But like it's a really cool character, and I think he's gonna be really nuts for.
This is right now, now, Noah.
Sure. But even still, Dragoons is very consistent and solid.
Yeah.
I think it's very consistent. I just think it.
The only thing it lacks, even though it has the board wipe with Freya, I think one of the biggest things Dragoon lacks is a stable, big boss monster. It has a Stynian, not the new one. Because the new one's only a Scion of the 7th Dawn. It has 5 CP Stynian, but like I think Dragoons need something to the caliber of like it has some form of protection on itself.
I think the other thing that I think it has a problem with is just card advantage.
Yeah.
I think if it doesn't get A-list, it gets set so far back.
It can, yes. Man, I think A-list really only gives advantage. Yes. I honestly only think A-list gives the biggest advantage to the 3CP standard unit, so you can almost reliably show 4 dudes to break and give it haste. Otherwise, like A-list is cool. A-list feels like a trap sometimes. Like
I think A-list runs that deck. I'm going to stand by this when it comes to
watching Steven play. I would not disagree. Steven hates playing that deck if he doesn't see A-list.
I think A-list defines Dragoons, in my opinion, just because of card advantage.
I do also think, so there's 3 different ways to play Dragoons. There's water lightning, mono lightning, and then wind lightning. I personally think water lightning is the better way to go.
I've never seen a water lightning in my life.
Shane played it a while ago. I think it was at like R3 or R4. It's just infinitely more Freyas are accessible, plus Sarah searches out A-list. Because A-list is a prince.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I just think you lose a lot of consistency in Dragoons.
I don't think you lose that much.
I put it on a A- to top, if not B+, because it's just fast. it's fast enough that against other decks, it can just push out so much damage that sometimes decks right now have a hard time. Like the decks that are in the meta,
I think Dragoons is an aggro style deck.
Yeah, if you're going in, and so like there's a lot of decks like that can't really stabilize. Like if you see a Safari player and they take 4 straight damage, sometimes they don't know what they can do.
Yeah, I get that.
So that's why I put it at A-, is because it can play a faster game.
I just don't feel like its pieces are good enough. I think its best pieces are Freya and Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all it, outside of A-list, I think that's all it really has. Actually, Ricard's really cool. But I think Ricard gives it some advantage.
Ricard makes the deck so much better because it's a Dragoon that top 5.
Ricard makes it much better. After I played it against it this weekend, but like, I just think it's very much dependent on seeing Freya, seeing A-list, and seeing Barbara, because Barbara gives you so much advantage with the haste.
Yep.
I think it's just very dependent upon seeing very easily killable dudes.
RNA is really good too.
Oh, RNA, the 6-drop?
Yeah, the first one.
It's a very cool defensive piece that it didn't have before as well.
Yep. So I
think the consistency is really cool and it's quick. I don't think it's better than Ninjas. I think Ninjas has too many good pieces that it can use.
I think Dragoons is way better than Ninjas, only because Dragoons has access to the 2CP one that just gets bigger for every Dragoon on board. Mm-hmm. And Ninja's biggest boss monster is like Yuffie, sure, but that Dragoon by itself with like 3 backups is already, what is it, a base like 5 or something, so it gets plus 2, 4, 6. I think it's like a 9-11. So it's like an 11k already. It already beats Yuffie.
Yeah.
So sorry, my head was going.
I think it's real cool. I just don't think it's. I don't think it's an A deck. I really don't.
I moved it down to A-, but
again, it's a 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. You guys put it where you guys want.
All right,
I can put it in B+.
Samurai.
But it's above Folka.
Right? Is that what this is? Sammy?
B.
Yeah.
B.
B+.
Next to my Dragoons and my Ninjas.
B+.
I put it at low B+. So
here, I think Folka
really cool.
beats it. If Folka hits the board before Tenzin hits the board, Folka just keeps bouncing, and Tenzin doesn't really accrue too much value because it's just too costly at that point. But if Tenzin hits the board before Folka hits the board, and Samurais can get a Cyan before Folka can lay down, they win.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I'm not sure about that.
I think if you see if you're gonna run into like a water
Folka can't
deck,
stop a board wipe.
I think you just don't play Tenzin at that point. You just play Cyan, Hien, and you just keep like pinging down their Folka, and like you force them to keep discarding summons to save Folka.
Yeah.
And like you just reduce their value at that point.
Yeah.
So you play a different style at Samurai because like you can play the Tenzin style and that's cool, but the main draw of Samurais is that it can also play an aggro game where it plays Cyan Hien and it just goes into your face and you're just like, all right, I just took 4 damage here. Cool. Yeah. I can't do anything about that.
Here's the thing. I don't think Samurais does anything to Folka. It just doesn't. It can't. Yeah. You play Cyan and I bounce it back to your hand. You don't get the chance to board wipe the Folka.
Yeah, but if you already have. But if Cyan comes up before Folka, then like
it doesn't matter. It still won't matter.
They can still bounce it. The only thing is that Samurai. I do say Samurai has more combat tricks. Well, Samurai has some combat tricks in terms of being like, okay, cool, you bounced Cyan. Do I have one in my break zone? Sick. Pop Samurai, play Cyan.
Yeah. Folka is very dependent upon its summons, whereas Samurai's, in my opinion, is actually. I was playing against this, and I think Samurais is very dependent upon his backups. I think Tenzin and Cyan don't matter a single fuck.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna play them regardless. That is the game plan.
Yeah, but the backups is what gives you that extra pump.
Your backups matter so much more in Samurais than Tenzin and Cyan ever will.
Yep.
That was something I really learned.
Tenzin isn't 6. That's my stance. He is never 6.
Tenzin's whatever. I don't really give a fuck. It's just like. None of the samurais matter more than their backups do.
Yeah.
But your deck's not going to do anything without Tenzin or Cyan, so it's real funny.
Okay, so what do you guys want to put samurais in there? I put them in B+ initially, but
for me, I put it at B. I put it at B. I don't think it's good enough to beat Water.
Can it beat
I put it at lowest B+.
This is what I'm thinking right now. I think I'm looking at it right now on our list. Right now, for me, B+ tier is anything that can stand with water, and I don't think Dragoons, Ninjas, or Samurais can do that. So on my list, I don't have those beating them.
I think Dragoons
right now
just
that's
has the haste
listening.
ability on it, but can Samurais beat Ninjas?
Yes.
Okay.
You're mono-colored.
I think that's a very fun matchup, though. I actually think that's a very cool matchup.
I think it depends on like how your boss monsters come out. If Edge already has like a lot of counters and like he's gonna and like you have a couple ninjas on board, like if you have Fury, then Samurais have a rough matchup. Like it's very rough for them.
That might be the most 50-50 matchup we have on our board right now. Ninjas, Samurais.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yes. Yeah, because it all depends on like who gets set up faster.
That's a very thematic thing. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Magiisa next, right?
B+. I think Magiisa can stand with water.
I think Magiisa's up in an A, honestly.
I put her in A-.
With a lot.
With all the new stuff that came out, Magiisa seems so much more nuts.
Magiisa has Idolus, and Idolus says play wool.
Yeah. Idolus also just plays Alpha to go find what you want.
Yeah. Or, even better, Magiisa has Guts Go, which is super cool. Or, if you wanted to, Magiisa can play the newest Axstar that just says dull anything that's not cost 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
You could
really
also Magiisa also gets Ace. So like Ace gets a value for its fire cards that it probably won't ever grab again. Like
Magiisa lets you ramp too quickly.
I just know for where I put when I was doing mine, where I put A- stuff, I don't see Magiisa standing with the stuff I put in A-.
I don't even know everything you put in A-. I think Magiisa can.
So like I said, we'll get there.
Yeah,
I just don't.
For sure.
It's the same thing with like the B+
wall. Is Magiisa only on your turn, or is Magiisa on?
No, you can do it on your opponent's turn.
You can do it on your opponent's turn.
Oh yeah, Magiisa's an A.
It's just a lot harder to do it on your opponent's turn.
Is it though?
I mean, there's probably something that does it, but I mean, it's not as easy as play a dude's hit myself for it.
Dude,
well, usually people go Braska Magiisa, so they just pitch a fire summon off of Braska and go, oh cool, Magiisa search. But you could just tap one, play Ifrit, and like 5k something on their board and 5k Magiisa, and then right after that's done, Magiisa search.
Yeah, it's also true.
Yeah, so I
think Magiisa's an A.
2 sets ago. Dude, 2 sets ago, I was seeing at Pennsylvania, I saw Magiisa deck just going off, and he always did Magiisa on his opponent's turn every time.
It's one of those things where I actually really like. It's a very toolboxy way of playing it. But what it says is your opponent does something, and you get to literally toolbox any 3 or less card from your deck to fight a situation. Yep. It's a very neat. I actually really like the way that plays.
It feels like what's it called? 6 Sages from Force of Will. You do everything on your opponent's turn.
You won A- for me. Congrats. I played on my opponent's turn. You won A- for me.
Yeah, like it's so good. Like
if it was only your turn, I wouldn't let.
No, for sure. But because
the opponent's turn, I'll put an A-.
Yeah. No, it gives you so much different variables that your opponent has to deal with. Because now your opponent, if they want to respond to Magiisa, has to do it on their turn, and that lowers their chances of doing stuff on their turn. So like, it's fine. I think Magiisa's A- just because the way you can play that deck.
Opponent's turn is what won it.
All right,
congratulations.
Next one. I'm assuming Bart's Boko.
Bart's Boko Party.
B.
C.
Solid B.
B-.
I put it low.
Only because it's too dependent upon one piece.
Sorry, Bart's Boko doesn't care about anime, first off. Second off, Bart's Boko Party gives you access to Ultra Sloop.
That I understand. I'm just saying it's too reliant on Bart's for me to care about it.
Well, sure.
And anything higher than like a B-.
But Bart's is like a 9k, and if Boko dies, you just grab another Boko.
I understand. But
it's really fast. This is where I stand with Bart's Boko. As quickly as it is, it's the same as Verstale, right? It's a glass cannon, but I feel like it's more stable than Verstale because while Verstale wants to give you cards and then you have to
pieces are cheaper.
Its pieces are cheaper and
almost
more efficient off of it because I still stand by. I think Ultros is nuts.
Don't they just go on board too?
Yeah, it just plays a 1-drop.
Yeah. So like, okay, never mind. I thought I added it to your hand. That's my bad.
The downside for Bart's Boko is none of your things are really big.
Mm-hmm.
But downside to Bartz Boko is none of your things are really big. You play a bunch of small dudes that party attack to net you advantage to where you play big things like Bismarck and Leviathan to then go forward with your plans. So Bartz Boko by itself is very dependent on Bartz to set up the party attacks versus Verstale, which just wants really big pieces. Everybody's leaving me. So I'm
just entertained for now.
I just think it's B-. I can understand higher. I think it's too reliant on B. So like I think it's in the same tier as Verstale for the same reasons. It's a very glass cannon style deck that's dependent. Like Verstale's dependent upon hitting very jackpotty things off the top of your deck, where Bartz Boko is very dependent upon having the Bartz. Oliver left too, so it's just me.
Oh. Whoop, whoop.
So we put in. Where are you putting it?
I put it in B, just plain B. I think it's a little bit better than Verstale, which is a B-. But if we want to put it at the top of B- over Verstale,
I think it's in the same tiers as Verstale. I do think it's better than Verstale.
Okay.
Just because it has consistency at advantage, but that's about it.
Okay.
I think Verstale's max out like hits, like it's jackpot. When it hits jackpot, it's very nutty, and it won't. I don't think there's anything in the game that beats Verstale's jackpots, but Bartz Boko is way too fucking consistent at draw power.
It is very consistent at draw power.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason
the second you put Bartz and Boko down, it almost
you're netting so quick.
Yeah, like you have to deal with them the turn after, or they just start ramping, and if you deal with them, they just put it back down again.
And then the other pieces they play do things like, I just think they're too small. They instant die to Hecaton Share. Your whole board dies to Hecaton Share in that matchup.
I mean, that's fine.
Ixion and Heka, fuck your board.
You have to eat the cost on that, but like, again, one of the coolest things about Bartz Boko is because of the draw power, it almost doesn't really matter. Plus, I will always stand by, one-drop Ultros is stupid, and it's usable on any turn.
Yes.
If you think you're going to kill that card, you're never touching it.
I just don't think it... for me, I have it... I don't think it's better than Samurais or Ninjas, and I have Dragoons in that same tier, and I don't think it's better than Dragoons.
I actually just above Verstale.
Yeah. Like, that's what we were talking about. Like, I think it's in the same tier. I think it's better than Verstale for sure.
Yeah. It's rough in amongst.
It's rough into anything that doesn't care if you draw cards.
It's that the biggest advantage it has is how fast it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it can outspeed. If it outspeed monks, it's fine. If it is behind monks, then it's going to be an uphill battle. But like you could still get through.
At any point, if it gets set behind, Bartz Boko kind of just loses.
Bartz Boko also plays Noctis, which the second Noctis comes down, you almost just steal the game there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bartz Boko is the most play in the lead game. Yeah. You try to get out in the head as fast as possible and just stay there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It is the win more deck.
Mm-hmm.
Next one. We have, I'm guessing, Ice
Windstorm.
I put that
plus.
in A or A plus. No, A plus. I agree.
I think it's too nutty not to put an A plus.
It can sit there and get its face punched in. It can sit there and get its face punched in for like 6 points of damage, and then just flip the entire game on you. It's too good.
It's very weird. Like the beginning of the game for Icewind is a very volatile deck on its own, because it's a very, I'm gonna sit for 3 turns, hope I don't just get rushed the fuck out, and then I'm just gonna explode all over you. Like it's just, here comes everything I could play in my hand in 1 turn. I board wipe you, tap down your board, and set up a bunch of cool pieces. Do something next turn or you lose. Yeah.
Also, the difference between Icewind and just Wind is that Icewind, some of their pieces are cheaper. Like they cost so much more free.
I actually think the tap down is what matters most in the Icewind.
It does lock you down.
The ability to lock down your opponent, because then your next turn is still set up with Melvin and with Sid Hayes and with Locke and like
Riku.
All these other
and Barla.
Riku and Barla. Yeah, you're right. Like there's so many nuts pieces you can just play in it that are just like,
cool.
Yep. Hope is neat. Hope is a
Hope lets you ready more things, and I like to ready things.
Hope is a bipolar card.
I'll never deny it, but Eduardo into Hope is the funniest thing you could do to a person.
Dude,
Joel all your characters and Hope says freeze them.
I have a love-hate relationship with Hope as a card. When I played Icewind for a bit, because every time I played Hope, it was like either Hope was the best card in that situation, or he did nothing. Like he just sat there, did nothing. Like
I actually think you can play. I actually think in Icewind you could get away with playing like a backup Hope. Yes, it searches for either the Alexanders you want to play in the deck.
Next one is, I'm guessing, Firewater Knights, basically.
Yep, Firewater Knights.
B+.
So I have Firewater Ice Knights in here too. Laswell somewhere. Laswell's Fire Ice Knights, Fire Ice Water Knights. And this one's just base Firewater.
I mean, Firewater splashed with ice is fine. Firewater by itself is still fine in my opinion.
I think it's like B.
Actually, no. If it's not Firewater Ice, it's B. But if it's Firewater, it's Firewater Ice. It's a B+ for me, personally.
I actually don't think the ice is much the better. I actually think the ice deters
a little bit. I think
the ice just makes it so much better. Can you imagine putting Ramza and Ramza and Laswell just hold the game?
I think you do a lot cooler things in Firewater Ice Knights. I think the problem is the tricolor fucks that deck up so much. It lowers consistency so quickly.
I think for Knights, you have to be. Well, here's the thing, right? Like I tried Firewater Ice Knights, and it felt so inconsistent. And when I went to just Fire Ice Knights, it felt so much more consistent that my deck was actually doing things. And so, like,
I don't know
think
how I'm
with
getting
Knights,
lucky playing Firewater Ice.
Yeah, so
I think you get away with cool shenanigans in Firewater Ice. I just think the Firewater build is just so much more consistent.
I still stand by. We don't have enough worthwhile Knights to play yet in Fire, unfortunately. Like Ramza is like your biggest one.
So this is what I feel with Knights in general. I think with Knights in general, you just want a dual color. You don't want a tricolor. You just want a dual color because that's how you're gonna do cool things while also staying consistent with the Knight deck. I think you can either play Fire Water, Ice Fire, Water Ice, Lightning Ice, Lightning Fire. Each of them has their draw that is really cool. I think you just have to find the niche, the two colors you want to play, and just stick with them.
James, did you not put a single Cat 10 deck in here?
Cat 10's in here. Cat 10 is in here.
Yeah,
there's a Waka right here.
Waka. Yeah,
I like how there's a Waka where? Point it to me, James.
It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to your right, the second row down.
Yeah, I see it under the Celeste.
Yep.
Yes.
So
I think anything that's not Firewater Knights loses out on Gawain, and I think loses so much consistency without Gawain.
Oh yeah,
Gawain is so good.
Gawain is really good.
It's Knight Sildra.
I just mean tier-wise, I just don't think there's a reason to even talk about other decks right now. Outside of the ice build, only because Laswell's good enough.
I can see it depending on I can see it depending on how the meta shapes up. If you're gonna change what colors you're gonna play, Gawain is just not good enough.
I just don't think there's good enough Knights in the other colors.
Couple Ramzas that are neat.
Charlotte,
they got new Ramza, new ice.
well.
The new Lightning Ramza is really cool. Having another haste outlet is really nice.
And it has crystals, you can do ice. I guess you can do ice, fire.
Water, lightning.
You can do lightning, fire, but
you can also do lightning ice.
Why would you do lightning fire? The Knights deck. It's built on the back of Beatrice, making your Knights cheaper.
Yeah.
I think if you're playing Lightning Fire, I think you're not playing a Knights deck at that point. You're playing a Lightning Fire good package with value, with crystals and Furion and stuff like that.
Or like an FFTA deck. Almost.
Yeah, something like that. That's where you're going with. I just think
the package. I think the package underwater. I think water-based Knights by itself is just nutty, just for what pieces it has. And I think the dual-colored Fire Water Knights just don't give you a reason to play anything else.
I put it in B. Is that where we're leaving it, or?
That's where I put mine.
Okay.
I put it right.
I put it with. I actually put it in low B+.
I put it next to Ninjas and Samurai. So we had Ninjas, Samurais, and Knights.
I have it in between.
I put it. Yeah, because all those three decks, in my opinion, are B+ decks. They can start contending with stuff. That's where I'm at with it. I can see them. Even in 60-40 matchups, getting away with stuff.
What's the Sid Randall one?
Just tax-based deck.
Okay. Oh man, after watching Travis talk about tax a little bit, and as much as I love tax. I think tax is hilariously good in this game. I don't.
It's so piece dependent.
I have it in C only because like Oliver just said, it's very piece dependent.
It's very piece dependent.
Yeah, like if you don't see Sid Randell in like the first 2 turns, Sid Randell becomes an infinitely worse card. Like because your opponent by then has answers to it and just kills it.
You could play if you played like a water. The issue is the tax colors are so spread out that like you want to play Cecil, but also underwater you play Sarah that can search out Mute, that can search out Sid Randall. So like it's really weird how you want to do it.
And like you kind of want to play Earth so you can play White Tiger. Like
you want to play like Ice Earth for White Tiger and like. You want Earth in general because Vanille is extra tax, but like Cecil's underway. It's just not cohesive enough.
It's piece dependent and it's too spread out for all the core pieces you want to play.
All of the Vanilles, like it's so weird.
I put it in D. Actually, it can't be C. It's 2. It's not consistent enough.
You don't think?
I don't think it's consistent enough.
Okay, after seeing all that, I can see it under WOFF. Like I can see WOFF being.
If you're playing it as a tax deck, it's not consistent enough. Now, if you're playing a lockdown style deck, if you want, you can do like Emperor Sid under Ice Earth. If you're gonna play a deck like that, I would put it up into C because you have a bit more consistency in there. But that's not tax. That's like a lockdown. That's just vanilla dot deck. I want you to play a vanilla deck.
The other issue is just like the only thing it does is tax, right? It doesn't do anything to a point. It doesn't have like a boss monster. It's literally just your rock stun deck, right? From Yu-Gi-Oh. Its idea is I'm playing crucially like plus half advantage cards that are just going to put me far enough ahead to where if I continuously do it, you can't play the game and I win.
Yeah, where I just slowly ping you down and like you're not allowed to play the game and
that's a very risky game to play because if you get set behind you lose.
You whiff one turn in like either draws or searches, and you're now infinitely worse comparatively to another deck that it
can't play from behind at all.
Yeah,
like it just doesn't.
Nope.
You need to be on the ball turn 1. Turn 1. Start getting them out because if not, they're gonna start getting ahead because they're just either gonna put dudes out.
I'm fine moving it down to D. I'm fine with
it. Okay. Next one, Mannequins.
Mannequins. D.
C tier.
D.
I think it's above
it's
D.
better. I think it's better than Tax, but not as good as Rain because Rain WOFF is so simple game plan. Get Rain out there.
But here's the issue with WOFF. WOFF can't search out anything at once. Mannequins can.
Mannequins does have a good
Mannequins has multi-playable backups that color fix 1 busted and 2 makes your X death cheaper busted and 3 also searches. Mannequins has 2 different searchers, 1 in a backup, 1 in a forward. And then it also has reset replay.
I think Mannequins has better consistency.
It's more consistent than WOFF.
But it doesn't have very good, almost like congruency. It doesn't play as well together as WOFF does.
Plus,
but
Mannequins
it's more
has a VTOS.
Advantage.
What was that, Noah?
Mannequins has a VTOS.
True, they do.
Which is still generically good.
Yeah.
And you can loop that card. It also does have Delusionary, Delusionary Knight? Dark Knight or whatever? That you can break it to save one of your dudes. And it's 1 CP, which isn't terrible. Like, I just think Mannequins has a lot more consistency and a lot more pressure on it.
I don't think the Mannequins X death is good enough. And I don't like calling it a Mannequins deck if the idea is play a bunch of cool Mannequins, play the new X death to do, because it's just better type of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a real lame game.
I still think it's in C. I think it contends with Refia's Warrior Lights deck. I don't think it. Man, almost actually talking about it, Refia Warrior Light, I kind of want to move it to D.
I can see it go down to D because of how many pieces you need.
That's fine.
I can agree that it's on par with Refia, but I also don't think Mannequins deserves to be in C. Right?
I think Mannequins is too consistent to not be in C. It has more consistency than the bottom decks in D, and the consistency matters.
Man.
And
I'm
just stating,
there with you.
the Mannequins are versatile.
James.
They're not just one thing.
I'm there with you, James. Like I can see where I can see where Noah's going with it, but I
Come
can't,
on, give me
dude.
C.
I can't.
One of you just got to give me
can't.
C tier. The
I'm not
consistency's
giving
too
you C.
insane.
I'm
The
moving Refia down to D.
I'm
listen,
moving Refia because they're at the same level, but I honestly
listen. Okay, hear me out, right? I'm just gonna run. We're gonna run through this real quick, right? So we have a color fixer. That's 2 CP and a backup, meaning it's almost impossible to pop off. That's multiplayable. Okay. We have a searcher and a backup. We have a searcher and a forward. We have a mannequin that costs 2 less if you have mannequins on board that plays a dude that picks up a mannequin for you.
Your color fixer is the Earth Toto mannequin, right?
Yeah.
That's the one. How many Earth mannequins do you play in order to play that
one? You play
well,
that.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though,
that's
right?
Where
The core of the mannequin backup line just has to be Lightning Earth, because it doesn't matter what else you put down. So you can play Shantoto with that. You can play Tyro for extra color fixing. You can play Kate Sith to pick up your X-Dets.
Here's where I think we get it, right? Are you ready? I think all the pieces...
You also get Kusith and Miss Dragon.
Cool. I think all the pieces in mannequins are the equivalent of the pieces in Tax Deck. By themselves, they can do really neat things that can keep you a game, but you have to have specific ones at specific times to have that part of the game. X-Death is the only one that gives you better pieces, and you're entirely dependent upon making sure you draw your color fixers, or at least your searchers at the start of the game.
I mean, WOFF has one card that searches out anything that it wants, and it's a backup.
That's why it's a D tier.
But Mannequins doesn't. Mannequins has 2 cards that are multiplayable.
I understand.
I feel like you're undermining the consistency.
But your multiplayable does not make the deck better.
It does.
All right, Noah.
It does, actually.
Not better than D tier.
It does.
Noah, what if I give you the top of D tier? Where no matter what else we put, Mannequins is top of D tier no matter what.
Bottom C tier. Bottom C tier.
What.
I'll never change it. Mannequins is C tier.
Okay, wait.
All right, Noah. We talked about this.
That's why I'm trying to convince you.
Noah, hear me out. I'll give you bottom of C tier, but give me something that's not what you've already said. Give me some spice that you can put in a mannequin deck, and I will give you C minus. I will give you C minus, but give me some spice.
Give me a sec.
Yeah. Get me some spice that you can actively play in this deck.
I think he only has C. I don't think he has C. Me and you set up C minus.
Yeah. But for me, C, I'm gonna put them all in like order, but bottom of C is C minus for me.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing
but this is his one chance. If he doesn't get me some good spice that you can put in a mannequin deck, I'm not giving him C.
Give him your Magiisa plays on the opponent's turn.
Yeah, give me something. Give me something spicy you can put with the new couple sets, because we haven't checked mannequins in the last few sets.
I actually have not looked at mannequins.
This isn't going to be my thing, but I do just want to throw out Phantasmal Girl is also just a tax piece in mannequins that keeps your mannequins alive.
Okay, I already knew about that card. Because we had talked about it.
We already knew.
I already knew about it.
I'm just letting
because you've done it to me multiple times.
Yeah, she's nuts.
Yep.
She offers protection. I'm sorry, Mannequins has protection over WOFF.
Yeah.
Again,
they have Tama.
Again, I'm not saying it's better than. I'm not saying it's worse than WOFF.
Tama's only good for one time.
Yeah. Give me something spicy from the last 2 sets, because like I said, we haven't talked about...
the last 2 sets? I had a really dumb beam card under Earth that you can play in Mannequins.
Nothing has changed the last 2 sets.
Give me something that...
Yeah. What has changed the last 2 sets to make it better?
Yeah, because I haven't seen Mannequins deck that we've played in the last 2 sets with none of the new cards. I haven't looked at it.
Be played in the last 2 sets.
Huh?
I literally play WOFF all the time, though.
Okay,
yeah,
I played Mannequins.
He played WOFF recently.
What?
Yeah, I got fucked up by a fucking Midwoo.
Yeah, he got fucked up by Midwoo.
I built a really cool, just all it does is ping a bunch of things, and then he turn 1 goes Midwoo, and I go, my deck that goes ping for 4, ping for 7, ping for 5, doesn't do shit all.
Yeah, he fucked up. He got fucked.
I literally got fucked on turn 1.
I feel like Mannequins deserves to be in C, not just for one, its consistency. 2, it's got better protection in my opinion because it's more consistent on that as well. So that still lumps in with the consistency. And 3, it has way more search viability, which I guess still lumps into consistent. Mannequin's too consistent to not be in D. Nothing in D has the consistency that Mannequin does.
Does enough.
Nothing in D has the consistency that can match up to Mannequin or any other deck above.
And I'm fine with that. But here's the thing. Everything in D, of both of WOFF and Refia, have good things that it does at its peak. You know what Mannequins does at its peak?
It plays big dudes in X-Death.
It plays X-Death. It doesn't have big dudes. It is a big dude.
Hold on.
Outside of X-Death.
I gave you my stipulation, Noah. If anything, we can go on, and if you find something that's cool, we can come back to it.
I don't know. I think you guys are actually just undervaluing the effective consistency to bring that up a tier, but it's 2 out of 3, so whatever. this is something I will die on the hill for. I will forever. I don't want top of D. It's a C tier deck. I stand by that. I don't care what you say. I stand by that.
That's fine. On your list, you can have it at the top of C. I don't care.
Well, my list is the general list shared between all 3 of us. So.
Yeah, I mean the list in your heart. No.
I just think you guys are. I know you guys are wrong that Mannequins is a D tier deck, but whatever.
Here,
Water, Earth, Sophie, right? Water, Earth, Sophie.
I've also been looking. Yeah, it's just Water, Earth, Sophie. The idea is you're trying to play Sophie exclusively almost. You're just trying to defend Sophie. Yeah,
She doesn't have her search anymore. B minus.
Yeah. You only get one of her. She loses to Medine.
Yep. Anything that removes.
She loses to a Bahamut.
I will put her above Versteel, but below Bartz Boko because Bartz Boko is just faster than her still.
I guess I have Versteel at the bottom, honestly. But I also wasn't sorted. Let me sort real quick. I'm fine with that. Bartz is better than Versteel. I actually don't think Sophie's better than Versteel at peak. Consistency wise, I don't think Sophie's better. And I kind of want to move. Man, I'm teetering between these two. Okay, I'll keep it like this right now.
I'm about to lose my shit on this next one. So y'all better be smart on how you decide to place this. I know it's low, so I'm okay with it being low, right?
F tier.
Our next one is Cadets. Where do you put Cadets? Where you put Cadets right now actually is going to infuriate me. If you put Cadets in a tier where I think Mannequins deserves to go as well. I'm just letting you know right now. I put Cadets in C tier.
I put Cadets in B tier with Rampier.
I don't think.
I don't think that's true. Whoa. So here's the thing. I have Cadets in D tier, underneath Mannequins right now.
Nope. I think Cadets in C tier as well.
You think D tier as well?
Because listen, here's the thing with Cadets. Unless you fully board wipe a Cadets deck, Cadets has at least 3 different forwards that fuck up a forward and or the board. That being 9, Ace, and Sync or Cease. Sorry.
I guess you're right. Fuck. Shit.
I put it in B tier. With Rampier is because like you have multiple ways and like you have enough. Huh?
1 second. No, going down. A plus Luck. A minus Magiisa. B plus is Folka. And did we put Realm there, or did I put Realm there?
You did. I left Realm in B minus.
Okay. So going down, so you have. Because I guess mine's out of order. I guess
Here,
I started placing.
Let me read what I have. Right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna place it in the order you have yours.
So I have Lock in A.
Yep.
Plus. Yep. Magiisa in A minus.
Yep.
Dragoons are in A minus currently because we had the 2 out of 3.
That's fine. I wanted to copy yours because I know what mine is. I don't know why.
Folka in B plus.
Yep.
And then it goes in B. You have samurais, knights, and ninjas.
Okay.
And then B minus is Bartz Boko, Sarah, Rampier, monks.
Sarah? You mean Sophie?
Sophie, my bad. Yeah. Sophie, Rampier, monks, Versteel, Realm, and then Sid FFBE.
Okay. C's blank.
Okay, here's.
And then you got Mannequins, Refia, WOFF, and Sid.
I had Mannequins, WOFF, Refia, Sid.
Hey.
Mannequins. Say that one more time? Sorry.
Mannequins, WOFF, Refia, Sid.
Okay, that's fine.
Noah. I'll give you C tier, and the only reason I'll give you C tier is because you could have Gilgamesh.
The dual color one?
No. The one from set 18, the legend that says remove forwards of different colors to break something of cost of the colors you remove.
Is it a typo? Or a cadet.
No,
It doesn't matter.
No, I'm saying Gilgamesh or mannequins.
He's saying mannequins. He's giving you mannequins.
I'm giving you mannequins.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm giving you that card because I know you didn't play with that card when mannequins came out. You had not played with that card in your deck. I'll give you mannequins because you have a piece called Gilgamesh that also puts pressure on your opponent.
And it has haste. I'll give it to you. I'll also give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give you C. I'll give you C just because of that card.
I think Gilgamesh gives you a use for your bad mannequins that you play.
Yeah.
Mannequins that have a one-time use on board, I give you that. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Like I said, Noah, the problem is your mannequins don't do enough by themselves. They have no team congruency, so that, like, unlike WOFF, they don't compound with each other. They're just like Tax. They have single-use abilities that do cool things on their own, but if you don't have them in the good enough order, they don't do shit all.
Yeah.
But this Gilgamesh gives you a use for them, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's brave. It can attack twice. That's nuts.
Yeah.
I'm 100% fine with this.
Yeah, I'll give you mannequins at C. I'll give you mannequins at C.
with me. Mannequins will always be a C for me.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Until they give us a mannequin itself that's busted, but they're not going to for a while.
That means we haven't looked at mannequins. I swear we looked at mannequins for set 8 when Illusionary came out.
We did.
He did. He never played Gilgamesh in that deck, and I reread Gilgamesh. I was like, why doesn't he play Gilgamesh in this deck?
Because I was too focused on memeing with Suzuhiza.
Yeah, I know you were. I know you were.
Okay, so wait. Back to cadets. Okay. We're saying B.
C.
C. Huh.
This is coming from the cadets player that wants cadets to be good. C.
You said C? I thought you said B.
No. C. In the cadets lineup, there's not enough EX bursts that are really gonna save you.
I don't think there's like any EX bursts, is there?
Two specific ones that matter. There is
the summons and the rim, right?
There's the summons.
Yeah.
Well, the summons I'm not counting as cadets. The summons are just the summons of it. But you play Rim and Queen are the only two cadet EX bursts that matter. Oh, sorry,
I think you're saying B, so I was like a little confused.
Trigger for ZX anyways, but
here's the thing. I think cadets is an equivalent to a slower 13 deck.
Yeah.
I think they do the same thing. I just think Lightning is a much better card than
has more removal.
Yeah, I mean,
Cadets' removal is more consistent, and its card advantage is more consistent.
9 is a very good. 9 is a very good removal.
The only difference is Lightning is 10 times 9 will ever be, right?
Well, yeah, because Lightning.
Yeah, Lightning does 25,000 different things. That's the only
paradigm
reason.
Shifts.
Yeah, I honestly had no problem with it being B because I actually like the board control and I really want to play cadets myself. But I also understand. I've watched this deck brick the fuck out all the time.
Oh yeah.
That is the only reason I'm fine with it.
I played against you and you bricked really hard, didn't you?
It's consistent, but it's not as consistent as you want it to be yet.
Yeah. Especially for a deck that wants to play like 4 dudes a turn, right?
Like some of the better things that they've given us, like right now, I really wish, like, here the biggest issue with cadets, and everybody says this, and I totally agree with it, is that the backup lineup is not.
Does it match its forwards?
The backup lineup is too name clashy.
Yeah, name clash.
Cater's cool, but the Cater backup is also nice to have because cadets wants cadets on boards, but like. Yeah. The only 2 backups that you're really going to put on board that are better than the forwards generally are going to be Rim and Deuce. And, like, Cater's a toss-up.
Man, the more I'm seeing cadets and the more I'm seeing them with mannequins, I'm like, man, would I rather play mannequins or would I rather play cadets?
I'd rather play cadets over mannequins.
If I got the choice, I'm playing cadets over mannequins.
Cadets has more power forwards.
Yeah.
Cadets are also a lot more fun to play in general. Like, it's a combo deck versus... a
semi-combo. Mannequins is like a bursty deck.
Yeah.
It's weird because like combo decks are always gonna be more fun. So like that's a weird way of like having to like which one would I rather play? Like if you're just picking up a deck, I'd 100% always recommend cadets because it's gonna be a lot more fun if you're trying to have fun.
Yep. Like, next one. I'm assuming this is.
Where'd we put it? Before or after?
Before mannequins.
I put it top of C.
Okay.
I just like. Because of the first.
I love that we moved mannequins from D to C-. I love it.
Dude, that Gilgamesh, dude, I told you, I was like, there has to be a card that like makes this Mannequin deck like work better, and I was just like, oh, Gilgamesh, yeah, let's go.
What is is this like lightning or
this is just Scions, whatever you want to play. I don't think there's gonna be too much variance currently with Scions, right? I don't think you're gonna play an Earth Scions.
Hear me out.
I don't think it's good enough.
Hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out, okay?
Okay. I want you to know, Noah, I can only exclusively hear you and Oliver.
Earth Lightning Scions is still very solid because it's 14 and lease exists.
Party attack.
And the party attacks will still touch and don't get broken.
The only reason I would even here's the thing. I don't think I'm not considering Earth in my list in this list at all.
Why would you put the Sistola down if you're not considering Earth, James?
Because the only other card I could think of to really consider it would be Thancred, and you play Thancred in a bunch of different style builds for mono
put
water.
down Lightning Y'shtola. Done.
I don't know. Yeah. I like this. I think I just searched. I think I searched Y'shtola and I just like this one more. I think this one's cooler. I think this is cooler than any Y'shtola you'll ever have. But I think the only reputable thing about having Earth is having EX Burst.
That's fine.
Manfuria's a hell of an EX Burst, my man.
She is. She searches for any of your Scions.
That's the only reason I would consider Earth in a deck. But so just face whatever Scions in general, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, well, if we're just gonna lump all Scions together, and this means default, I'll probably pick the better Scion deck that could possibly exist.
Water
I would put this in like my A minus to B+.
This is in my solid A tier. I think Grahatia
just solid A.
Yeah, solid.
Yeah,
solid base A.
Existing does just make this so much better.
I think I think it can teeter into A+, but I think the EX Burst reasons is the only reason I'm dropping it out of A+.
And then Oracle just being able to play a Scion.
Oracle's also nuts. Yep. Fucking Estinian's nuts.
Yep.
Fucking. Like I said, the only reason I'm not putting in A+
Whatever
myself.
You're doing, this is the issue. No matter what you do with Scions, Lightning's your base element.
Yep. 100%.
Everything else is auxiliary, whether it be fire, water, or earth. And I think Lightning Water is the better bet, but I do think Lightning Fire is really cool because there's a lot of options in there under 14 as well. So like,
I think
Lightning Water gets you the consistency, and then Fire Lightning gets you the burst. Like,
and then Earth is just like big boy.
I think Fire you start name clashing. Water definitely gets you the card advantage because you get a bunch of ad.
Where do you name Clash and Fire?
Gets you,
Where do you name Clash and Fire?
Y'shtola for sure.
Why? I don't care about that card. Or just pitch it for the other Y'shtola, right?
Outside of Least,
Porque no las
Least and Alphanod, I don't know to any other.
But Fire, you get Hien.
Under 14.
Actually, Hien's.
And
actually,
I will say,
I guess Fire Lightning would be more of like a 14 Scion package deck rather than just Scions.
You can go Grahatia into Alphanod to search for any card you want to. So
yes, I know. I just think it teeters more into, like I said, there should have been more decks we should have put here because I would have put that deck. Now that I've seen more things and read more things and did more things. This was like I said earlier. This was a list I made pre-20s full release and full list. Like I think Fire, Wind, Storm should be on here. I've been playing that the last couple weeks. I think it's really neat. I think I need a boss monster, but it's really neat. Like I said, I think Mono Ice 6 is a very good deck by itself, and I only have one Celeste over here for 6 just in general. I think there's a bunch of things I can add that I'll add for the next set before the next set. So like
yeah.
All right. Next one is Golbez and all his 2-drops.
Golbez 2s, D tier.
B.
You think Golbez 2s is in B?
Yeah.
Dude, Golbez dies. Golbez dies, and you play a bunch of 2-drops for free. And there's so many 2-drops that are so good.
Here's the issue. Golbez dies, and if you put Maria and Aerith on the board, nothing short of a Toto is getting rid of your board.
Yeah. You put, well, here's the thing. You go Maria, Aerith, Larsa, and like a Caius. And then your Caius is an infinite blocker that just doesn't die.
Or you put Luso down, and Luso just sits there with being a big boy that does double damage.
Luso's also really cool.
Yeah.
The issue comes down to they have to be able to break the Golbez is the hard part, right? Which is why I put it I put it at you. It will never be higher because Golbez breaking isn't super consistent yet. I mean, you do have Chimera now, which is kind of funny.
I'll put it at C.
You got Chimera, Magic Pot, like you got some shenanigans you can do with it.
But also, it's the fact that the 2-drops you put down are just so efficient. You can put down Palom and Porum and pass, and they get their counters.
That's also very funny. I just don't think it's better than what's in B-.
I think it's better. I think it's better than Sophie for sure because you play Sophie in that deck anyways.
The biggest issue is that if they break the Golbez on the opponent's turn, with whatever reason, like you don't want to touch you want to bounce the Golbez, right? That's generally how you want to do it. Because if you break that Golbez and you don't have an immediate response to that, you're screwed. And nothing right now at B- says stop Golbez.
No. Well, I think the Realm deck does, but that's besides this year. That's
Realm deck would have it in what? Maybe the Leviathan and that's it.
Water Leviathans, yeah.
But like they have to,
I think Bartz has it.
See it.
But same thing. It's a water deck.
You're playing 3 Golbez in the deck, and you're probably playing the Searcher for Golbez too.
Yeah, you're playing Baigan.
The funniest thing is, is my Golbez gonna die? Sick. I'll pop Baigan so I can kill a dude, and then Golbez dies, and I'll play a full board.
I'm just not sold on it. I just don't think it's good enough to beat what's in B.
I don't know, man. Zach Herninger has been playing that deck, and it contends against all the top tier decks. Like it contends against Soiree.
Hey, I want you to know I edit our locals. I see it.
Yeah. I don't see why you wouldn't put it in B. Like it fight against all these good decks.
I think it can play with them. I just don't think it's as consistent as.
I think with how me and Zach have built that deck, it's consistent enough. It's consistent enough because
how's it feel, James? How's it feel when we can't put it into the zone you want, James?
I'm fine with it.
Give me a reason. That's why
I recommended the 2 out of 3 rule, Noah.
Give me a reason
because you guys are gonna have a different opinion.
Why Golbez does not deserve to be in B tier with what we have. Okay, if that's the case, we say Medine for every deck that exists.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Every deck that requires this to go into the break zone.
Well, no, you just do it in response. When your opponent's gonna Medine you, you're just like, all right, I'll just break it myself through other means. Like, Magic Pocket exists.
Well, here's the thing. Every time you know that they have an option on board, you literally just wait and Medine afterwards because it won't matter.
Yeah. They're usually with how me and Zach have talked about that deck, if he sees a matchup like that where they're gonna have an easy response to it, he should always have 2 responses in his hand or on board in order to do it. It's all about the pilot.
Then we're at the point of where we're talking about having to have 2 separate options, and then we're gonna go back and forth on that.
Look,
but those options are so cheap.
Medine might stop it, but the issue is, as much as we love that card, and we
nobody thinks it's that good. I understand.
Nobody plays it, so it doesn't matter.
Here's the thing. I just don't think the consistency of what it puts out stands up to the consistency of what what these other decks can do.
I don't know what you mean.
You're telling me Golbez playing Palom and Porum doesn't matter?
Here's the thing. Palom and Porum die real easily. The reason Palom and Porum get away with what they do is because with Cat 4, things like Refia and Cecil, you can push other things in the game and make them better.
Here's another reason Golbez doesn't get higher than B, because Ixion exists. I will say that. Golbez will never be higher than a B when things like Ixion run around telling Golbez that it gets to like get a foot shoved up its ass and it can't do anything. I
just don't think it's better. That's like I said, 2 out of 3. You guys put it up there. I just don't think. I put it at low B.
I put it at low B because it can contend with them, but like it's starting to get rough.
I don't think it stands with samurais, knights, or ninjas.
Inadvertently, the higher up you go,
those are actually better.
The higher up you go in the game, like in terms of skill, the more break and damage abilities you see than like remove abilities.
Yep.
Also, I do want to state, if any deck doesn't want to deal with my Golbez, I'm getting 3 points of damage in them. Or you're losing a dude blocking it.
I mean, you kind of auto lose the ice. It kind of sucks.
You
have to have your option to like break it, but like I meant like if in that matchup, if you don't have a way to break your own dude, and like you're stuck in that wall, you kind of do lose the ice because there's no way to break it.
Well,
so I put Golbez in. I put Golbez at low B, but I put samurais, knights, and ninjas in B+. That's why I'm giving it B, is because it's below it. That's why I put mine there.
I thought we put those 3 in B.
I put him in B.
You guys put him in B. I put them in B plus because I
Yeah,
I thought we agreed with B. That's why I was saying. Where'd you put the Golbez?
I put
Golbez in at B all the way at the end.
After Ninjas, okay.
Yep. Next one,
Mobius. Fine. I just don't agree.
Is that what I'm assuming this is?
Yeah, Mobius. C.
B.
Here's the thing. I think
B minus. Better than Realm.
I put it B minus.
And better than Verstale.
You think it's better than Verstale?
Yes, because Mobius.
You get a free player.
Because you get to free play any Mobius, which means you can play Ned, you can play Maya, you can play Rosca, you can play
Have you looked at the Mobius from this set?
Not Yzmat, Emerald.
You get a lot of cool pieces that if
you
they
can play,
free play,
James,
do cool things.
You can play the Demon.
Yes, I know.
You can play Fiend.
Honestly, the Fiend might make me want to put it in B plus. But honestly, the only reason I don't have the reason I wanted to say C is I think it's entirely dependent upon what you're able to play from your hand.
Yeah.
I think you have to have your option, and your option has to be something that's going. I understand, but I mean, your option has to be able to do something then. Like the demon and the demon of the goddess gets you nowhere in the mid game where you want to play.
No, because the demon's on enter and on attack. So for the rest of the game, if they don't deal with the demon, you're spiking things.
Yes, demons.
So here's the thing. The reason why I put it in like mid B is because Mobius can sometimes just have big bodies. They just have big bodies, and so like.
I think that's the reason I'm okay with it being above Verstale right now.
Yep.
I'm in B minus with Mobius, but.
Yeah, you said above Verstale, right?
Yeah, in B minus.
Yeah. Yeah, I would still want to put in C, but I understand just because I think it's a little slower.
Give me B, James. Give me B. You know you want to.
I'm not giving you B.
Or sorry, B minus. Give me B minus, James.
I said B minus is fine.
Okay, I just.
And the reason I'm accepting it is because
he wanted the gratification of it.
The reason I'm okay with it is Mobius does the same thing Verstale tries to do, which is play cool dudes.
But Mobius
I think the selective dudes you play are better than what Verstale has. I think Verstale's ability to put out bigger dudes is easier than Mobius.
No, because Verstale does not have a dude that just plays it for free.
No,
but what I mean is I think its ease is everything's a high big dude. Every time you're doing something, it's a big dude. But Mobius doesn't always have that ability.
No, they do. I think Verstale doesn't have that ability. I think Verstale does not have that ability.
Everything is a big dude.
No. In Mobius, yeah. If you're playing the right deck, then yes. In Verstale,
you play non-big Mobius things.
Yeah, but usually those are just backups.
Sarah's.
Usually those are just backups because
you play Sarah. Sarah makes you fight with your big dude, which is nuts.
Yeah, you have those small amount of pieces that you do. Yeah. But a lot of your pieces are like wool going into like Maya, so that way your wool is now a 10k with Brave, and then like you have these pieces that are much better than Verstale pieces. Honestly, in my opinion,
I think the text on the overall working the congruency with Mobius is better, but I think the text on all of Verstale's cool dudes is much better because everything Verstale does is I'm playing big dude that's grabbing me other things. I'm playing big dude that's board wiping and grabbing me extra dudes. I'm playing Arden that's going to grab me more dudes. I'm playing this Nail that's going to 1-for-1 us so we always have big dudes. I actually think Tifa's a nuts card in that deck because it's a 6-drop. If you have extra cards to hand, you just dump it and have a 6-drop backup that becomes another forward. Like, I think Verstale's card text is better, but I think Mobius plays better together.
Me playing Verstale and like looking at Verstale, honestly, I lose the Mobius matchup every time.
I think the consistency of your teamwork is better.
I think Mobius is a better deck than Verstale.
I don't think there's
a couple placements. That's my honest opinion.
I'm fine. I think he just has it one above Verstale. I think Mobius has no way of stopping if Verstale hits the jackpot. If Verstale hits the jackpot every time and never has a bad draw, never has a bad check.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. You can do that with Mobius. Mobius can just keep grabbing stuff and just keep playing dudes on board.
I don't think Mobius can hit a jackpot the way Verstale does. I think if they both hit jackpots, I think Verstale just wipes the floor with almost everything in B minus. the reason it's a glass cannon. Is it has to hit the jackpot to just wipe everything.
Well, everything else, but in my opinion, it's a rough matchup in a Mobius. Like, that's why I put it above Versatile, is because it's a rough matchup. Like,
I have it for team
Mobius,
consistency. I'm fine with it for team consistency.
Yeah, Mobius is better just because it's team consistency, and some of your pieces just don't die comparatively to the Versatile pieces. So, like,
what's Noah chuckling about?
He's just listening to us.
So funny. Next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ice Lightning.
Zoromus.
A tier.
A.
Ice Lightning Zoromus.
I put it in A.
A.
A minus.
No.
I don't think it can match up with Scions.
I don't
think it matches up with Scions or anything in A.
I think if you open Sid Zeramis, your opponent can't fight into that.
I think Alcid's too. I think Alcid's one of the pieces that helps you match up with Scions. But on top of that, I also think that there's just too much versatility between Ice and Lightning. Even Scions might be able to deal with a few things here or there, but once you're locked down, they go. And if they can keep Zoromus on board, it doesn't matter.
I don't think Ice plays well behind, and I don't. Here's the way I was looking at it.
To supplement.
Yeah.
So depending on if you're playing, it depends on how you want to play Ice Lightning. But me personally, I'm putting Odin's in my deck every time I get, because if I'm gonna fall behind, you're gonna get hurt because of it. Or
the way I was looking at it right now, the way I'm looking at it right now is everything in A minus is nutty banana sandwich. I'm not saying it's not. I don't think either of these two plus the Zeramis, but with Ice Lightning, plays well behind on its own. It needs to get lucky off of its hits to play from behind. I don't think Magiisa does it well because it plays too many small dudes to try and play from behind. I think if Dragoons gets behind, there's not enough advantage it can get out of hitting nutty EX bursts to get itself back in the game. And I feel the same way about Ice Lightning. It has to hit nutty EX bursts to get back in the game. I don't think Scions needs that. I think Scions by itself can hard draw and get itself out of a bad situation. That is the only reason.
Ice Lightning gets access to Vincent though, which just feels like even in a bad situation, buying yourself a turn is really nice off of him.
I don't know if it buys you a turn in all situations. I think Vincent's very good when you're in the lead or in the mid game because it sets your opponent in the behind the pace. But I think if you're behind, I don't think it buys you a turn.
So here's the thing.
You also get Sephiroth though, and that back attack is really good to have.
The back attack is very nuts. I'm just saying, I just don't feel like it wins the behind.
We have 2 more hand traps to throw into Ice Lightning if we wanted to, and Wicked Mask.
I want to see how those play. I really want to see how those play before I give them any gratification for improving decks, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they're not nuts, but I don't want to give decks too much foothold based on a card that I won't 100% guarantee will do the work we think it's going to put in, right?
Yeah, here's the thing.
I'm 100% down if those cards are going to be nuts this format to bump this up to A+, because that can give you that. I just don't think it has it right now.
Here's my thing, right? With Ice Lightning, I think it definitely depends on what Scion deck you're playing into. Into Fire Lightning, it's a rough matchup. But into Water Lightning, I think you have a better chance. Ice Lightning has a better chance.
Not from behind.
I think from behind, yes.
No,
because
Water's always going to give you advantage.
No,
I think you have a better
Ice Lightning can play a slow game and just because there's Ice Lightning decks that also play discard hate, and so being able to discard hate and then freeze their stuff is nice.
I put a second ice down here for that specific reason.
Well, no.
Okay?
Here's the thing.
This is strictly Ice Lightning, your quick Zeramis Alcid deck you were talking about.
In that deck you play discard options. No, in that deck you
specific one.
No, in that deck you also play discard options. You also play discard options.
You said you were adamant about there being 2 separate decks.
There are. Ice Lightning.
I made 2 different ones then.
But he is right. You do have discard options because you get Weiss and Nero. You get Restrictor to search that out.
That's why there's a Weiss down here.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that.
Oh my God, we have 3 different ice decks.
Well, here's the
There's
thing,
actually
right?
a few. There's a few. A lot of it.
Weiss decks.
I mean, that
I don't think they don't play Alcid, or if they do, it's like a one of.
That's why there's a Weiss deck down here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Triple Alcid with triple Zeramis. That's a different deck because you want to see Alcid and just start beating their face in and keeping them locked down.
I still don't think it plays well from behind. That's it.
No, because your goal is to play Alcid turn 1. Like that's the goal of that deck.
No,
I'm saying is,
hold on. If you're behind and you Alcid Zeromus, that's two freezes down, which isn't terrible with 2 dudes and Zeromus that could probably attack and get a third one.
It doesn't net you anything. It doesn't like break dudes or set you up. It just
Ice never breaks
evens the game.
Yeah, Ice never breaks you.
Well,
and Lightning doesn't really. Lightning picks up dudes with like Sid of Clangoli and like other cards. And now you have Reeve as well. So like.
I just don't think it plays well from behind comparatively to like other decks.
I think it plays well from behind, better than Dragoons and better than Magiisa would, for sure.
Yeah, 100.
I think
I can agree with that.
The thing I see when I think of Ice Lightning, no matter how we want to separate it, I can put the Weiss deck up here too, just the same. If we're counting that as just Ice Lightning, it's got the ability to stabilize pretty early now because of the color combination. But also, even if it's behind, it still has a chance of catching back up. I think when Dragoons is behind, they're done, and when Magiisa is behind, like it's rough. Yeah. She might be able to do it, but it's not going to be easy.
I don't think she. I think she has to hit EX burst and draw the perfect cards.
Yeah, she has to find. You have to tech those cards in. Those are like you're like.
I'm leaving. I would prefer to leave this at A. Just because I think it can stand up to Scions.
I just don't think it stands up to Scions. I think Scions plays a well-rounded game, and I don't think...
It might be like a 70-30 against Scions, but I think this deck beats Magiisa, and I think it beats
I put them right beside each other. I put them right beside each other in A.
I don't think Ice Lightning plays a good from behind game. I think it plays a good mid and ahead game, and I think Scions can play all 3, ahead, behind, and mid game. That's just what
I just think Ice Lightning's a bit more consistent on beating the decks in A- right now. So
I put them both right beside
because we're hitting the little over the hour 40-minute mark almost.
What's the next one?
Sky Pirates.
This is base 2-color Sky Pirates.
Okay, B. Above Golbez and above Ninjas. And it's a little bit more consistent. It's below Samurai, above Knights.
I'm down with that. I'm not terribly indecisive.
It's too consistent in my opinion. And it has kites, which says anything I want lives whenever.
Yeah.
So like.
You also. Yeah. And sometimes they even just play Pinello.
This is PPR.
Oh, PPR is A-.
Yeah.
A.
I actually have it at B.
Nope.
I think the dudes are too small, and Ixion's going to control the format. I don't think it has the chance.
You know what the coolest thing about PPR is that they play Mist Dragon to tell Ixion no. So like.
I get it.
And
I'm just saying,
PPR is so cheap that people are probably only playing like 1 or 2 Ixions. Okay, you killed the PPR board. I'll build another one.
I get it. I just don't think it does enough by itself.
I think you get too much value out of them.
I put it in the low B A-. That's where I put it.
Yeah, I'll drop it A-. I can agree with that. I think it's high A-, honestly, right now. I think it beats Magiisa. It's got too much control to it. Well, if my mouse wants to cooperate, can we? Please?
Yeah. I put it in front of Magiisa.
Hey, where's Weiss right now? I moved Weiss by accident. Where's Weiss on the low cloud? Okay, solid.
Next one. I'm assuming this
is just Cat 6. Like I said, I wanted to separate this now.
Like Cat 6 in general?
Right now I can't. Just Cat 6 in general.
S.
Whether you want to do Mono Ice, Ice Fire,
S.
Whatever.
S.
I have
the new cards.
I have A+.
S. There's too many. There's too much, and with the new lock in Celeste, that deck gets faster. S tier.
I don't think it sits up there with Soirees and Wool. I
think it does.
Especially I think it does just because of new lock. New lock is just starts beating their face in.
I think that lock's nuts, so I'm not against it.
The thing Soirees will probably have over anything as like the big out that beats this deck, especially if Soirees is playing Wool, in my opinion, is going to be a Heka. And the thing that you have in this to beat Heka is going to be like Saban. So like it's a 1-for-1 trade on that. It's whoever can see whatever. But like the point is the second especially if you're playing the Dream Stooges, Wool's locked down for the rest of the game.
I think 6 is too dependent upon lock to be S tier. A plus without lock.
Too easy to search.
Yeah,
I understand. I just think if the new lock's not in that equation, that deck's still an easy A plus.
Yeah.
I think it's too dependent upon lock to be an S tier deck.
Honestly, I don't think lock is. I mean, lock is very good, but like if you play 5 CP lock or you play the new lock, in either one you play, just nets you value.
But I don't think it pushes you in S tier. I think that lock can push you in S tier. I just think the deck's too dependent upon that.
I put it in low S tier.
Because
I put it at the end of it.
Here's the thing: if you play the new lock, you're able to not have to play an almost 6 heavy deck, and you can sporadically put in a lot more tech pieces because the new lock doesn't require everything you hit to be a 6, right?
No.
If you play old lock, even then, still you're so consistent at hitting cat 6s that even if they get rid of cards on your board, you just throw more shit down.
Here's the thing: like I said, I think lock makes it an S tier.
This is taking a regional, so
I get it. I think with lock on board, it's an S tier deck. I think it's too dependent upon lock. Soirees to me doesn't have to be dependent upon Mana Metal to be an S tier.
I think it does.
Everything else, I think
else
Mana
is
Metal
easy to deal with
keeps
without
it S tier. I think Mana Metal keeps it S tier. I don't think you need Mana Metal to be an S tier.
Mana Metal keeps your pieces on.
Okay, so Mana Metal is just it's lock then. Lock is what keeps that S tier. Edel is what keeps Soirees S tier.
I don't think Edel keeps this S tier. I don't think Edel keeps it S tier.
You just said she does.
No, what I'm saying is, it's an S tier without Mana Metal. I think the core by itself doesn't need Mana Metal to be an S tier.
Nope.
Its color fix is too easy.
No, because the issue is without Edel, everything's easy to deal with. Edel is the reason that it would be at S tier, is because Edel protects everything else besides herself, and she plays something. Without
I think
Edel,
Mana Metal makes it stay in S tier.
Soirees falls apart, in my opinion. Because you don't have the protection. They don't have protection.
I think the protection is what makes it nutty.
That's what makes them S tier. Without Edel, they're not S tier.
Mana Metal just facilitates the engine. You still draw 2 cards. You still get to break a dude. You still have a 12k ping on the back row. You still color fix for whatever you're playing through Soil, Ignis.
What's one of the biggest openings you see with Soirees?
It's Mana Metal and the Amber and the Shijin. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, take Edel out of that equation.
You still go Amber into Shinjin.
Oh, a backup searching a backup.
Yeah.
Okay,
by itself,
we're done.
Still S tier.
We're done. No, I can't. If we're gonna put Soirees in S tier, I'm putting 6. I put 6 in S tier.
Like I said, you guys can put it wherever you want. I'm just saying I have it in A plus. I mean,
Oliver, where do you have it? I have to mess with you guys. So.
I have it at low S.
Okay, cool.
A plus. Like it's in that in between where like I can see it going down to A depending on the pieces you see, but like where it's like playing the consistent games, it's in S in my opinion. Just because like finding what you find.
What's the next one we got here?
A spellbook.
Spellbooks? Okay.
Spellbooks. It doesn't matter if it's ice or ice water. I don't really care too much.
B. Oh god.
B is fine.
Where in B though do I want to put this?
I put it at the same level as Leo and like Rampier. Like you can do cool things, but sometimes it's very dependent on what pieces you have on board. Because if you don't have Terra and Yuna on board, if you're playing like ice water, you're not really valuing off of casting summons. Like your summons are just doing summon things. So,
no,
like,
I was thinking putting it between knights and ninjas.
Oh, I put it between knights and Cat 12 Sky Pirates.
Okay, I'm fine with that too.
Okay.
I think it's somewhere within that mid range, right?
Yeah, like it's you do cool things and like you don't need as many pieces as like the stuff below it. But it's still very dependent on the 2 pieces that are like either having Yuna on board or having Terra on board in order for your summons to do more than stuff.
It's
so
very
like
dependent upon.
Yeah, so that's where I look at spellbooks. I'm just like, yeah, it's just like you just need either of those pieces or both for this deck to really have its like 100% value.
Next one, Kingsglaive.
Kingsglaive B.
Man,
I'm putting it B above Samurais.
It's funny you say B because I'm so close to saying B minus.
Here's the thing. I think it's better than everything in B right now. I really do. I think what it can do is just better than everything in B.
Yeah,
okay,
because
hold on. Let me go through this.
Nyx is a busted card.
This can play Ixion, which will almost outbeat Golbez, and it can almost outbeat Edge.
Ninjas.
It has Nyx that says you can't touch me, which means that, and it has Regis, which means Terra doesn't do jack shit.
Terra has to work hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Knights isn't going to be able to catch up to this sometimes.
No.
Yeah. No.
Samurais might give it a hard time with the board wipe, but the board wipe doesn't matter if I keep crashing my dudes anyways, because I can just snap break them.
I just think your teamwork works better in Kingsglaive than Samurais.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? With Kingsglaive, you can even tech in the Dark Arden as a 1-of in your deck, and that's a spice that like a lot of these other decks don't really have. Like they don't have a searchable Dark Arden that just like puts on board and then
say that card is bad only because I'm so used to getting it stuck in my hand, and once it's in your hand, you're sitting dead.
Yeah, that's why in the Kingsglaive deck that I played, which is Earth Lightning Kingsglaive, it was a 1-of.
We played.
If I saw it in my hand, I just played it at some point.
Honestly, no, the Fire Arden's not terrible either.
Yeah.
No, like, so I tried that initially, but now because it's gonna sound really weird that I'm saying this, but because of core, I almost want to go back to the fire because one we get Idolus under fire. Hold on, but also we get.
Oh, did you get Hean? No, that's 15. Never mind.
Yeah, it's 15 or 14.
14 instead of 50.
Hold on.
You can also just play the.
Here's what we get. There's the 3 CP Glocka that says. When he's put from field to break zone, search for 2 job captains with different names and add them to your hand. Meaning, I can pick up Core, and I can pick up the 4 CB Ravis that says remove 2 job captains, and choose something and deal at 10k.
Yeah.
You can also
4-drop 8k.
Also, you can also just play in Kingsglaive. You can play like a 1-of of the Fire Lightning Arden from the starter deck, and like you break your own treads and stuff like that and accesses. So then all your dudes become cheaper.
Yep.
So like you've got some spice that
you just need a bit more fire to make them consistent is the biggest issue.
Yeah, so like that's why I think Kingsglaive is better than those decks, is because you have these spicy other different picks and you're not limited to a string of stuff. You can play these different like Ardens that you can just like play for free.
Under Earth, we do get access to Regis and Ignis, which are actually good cards to play.
Huh?
I said you're an Ignis.
So
thanks, appreciate it. Next one.
It's literally my favorite joke.
What is this?
This is Mr. Steal Your Deck.
Oh, B-.
B-.
It's not consistent enough.
I honestly just want to say C, because it's entirely dependent upon what your opponent plays.
Yeah.
Because if they're playing a deck like WOFF, you're not gonna get anything cool out of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, unless you're playing this like a Mr. Steal Your Deck inside like a Soiree package, Soirees give you nothing. Soirees gives you cool one-off pieces, maybe, but if you hit any of the base Soirees, you get nothing.
Yeah. You just leave it. You just leave it and remove from games.
I kind of just want to put it under Mannequins, just because I would rather like, depending upon what I play against, I would rather just have the other 2.
Yep.
Consistency.
Yeah, because then you can just play typo.
This one's gonna hurt my heart. But I don't.
Me and Oliver are gonna put this in its rightful place.
Which one?
Oh, I'm not putting this. I'm not putting dancers any higher than a B-.
B+. That's where I have it.
I can't put it in B+.
I put it in B. I put it in B, straight B.
Where in B would you put it?
I put it on
right now, because I know you don't have it. Because right now I know you don't have the same. You're not looking at the same list we are. We got Kingsglaive, Samurais, Sky Pirates.
His B is my B-.
Basically. Yeah, I put it actually just below Spellbooks. It's like on the cusp of being B+, but I mean, it does auto lose to Spellbooks. That is true. It auto loses to Spellbooks, and then it auto loses to Spellbooks because Mayakov can't stop a spell.
Yeah, but Mayakov stops Terra, and if Terra can't target anything, it doesn't matter.
That's fine.
All Spellbooks has to do is bounce your Mayakov, and then they just go off.
But also in the process, because you're playing water, you can play Summoner as well, just to cancel the summon that matters the most. I almost always play that. You also have access to Ash, and you have access to Sanctuary Guardian or Sanctuary Guardian.
Sanctuary Keeper.
But here's the thing, right? The reason why I put it under Spellbooks is because at least with Spellbooks, you can play a game outside of Terra Una and still have like a consistent game plan. with dancers, if you don't have Lilith or Mycov,
that's why it's a B
you
minus.
feel super
it's
bad.
It's a B minus for the. I mean, it's in my opinion, I still think it beats ninjas. I've watched it beat ninjas numerous times.
Hey, I'm fine with it beating ninjas and being above knights.
But here's the issue.
I don't think knights touch it.
Bartz, Boko, and dancers are neck and neck at a 50-50. If dancers goes off, Bartz Boko never gets to attack. If Bartz Boko goes off, dancers can't catch up.
The reason Bartz Boko is not in B tier by itself with the others is strictly because it has no big dudes or doesn't do anything outside of party attack.
But what I'm saying is dancers just against Bartz Boko is already a 50-50 in my opinion. Yeah. And dancers isn't consistent enough to play Lilith because she's the most off-colored card in your deck.
Oh. And I'm dropping it to B minus. I'm dropping it to B minus because of that.
Like, we can't do it.
I'm down to put it right below Boko.
I'm putting it with Boko. They're like tied.
Yeah, I'm putting it right below Bartz Boko. That's it.
Next one is Barrett Snaps, I assume.
Am I the dumb one that put monks above Bartz Boko? Because I think I did.
Well, my list doesn't look like this at all. I'm copying the one you guys are going with.
I think
so that way I know where we're at.
I think monks is better than Bartz Boko, in my opinion.
I also think monks is better than Bartz Boko, but that's
monks doesn't set up fast enough.
Monks doesn't set it fast enough, which is understandable for me. It's what I'm fine with wherever that is. I would personally put it. I think I have Bartz Boko at C because I think it's too dependent upon party attacking.
Yeah,
and party attacking is always the greatest. And I have monks up at B. So
I just think that if you're gonna see into Bartz Boko, you at that moment you just kill the Bartz.
Yep.
That's
Bartz
just
is
what
really
I
hard
think.
to deal with though. Yeah. He's a 9K.
He is a 9K, but that's whatever. We're already past it. Who cares? Well, we can go back and fix later in a second.
Barrett Snaps?
Barrett Snaps.
A minus. It can make tops.
I'm going B plus. I don't think it's an A minus type deck. I think it's too dependent upon pieces to break and having the Barrett to play.
B plus below Folka.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Next
I think that's just the only big thing. Is
Avalanche?
A.
Solid.
It's a biased opinion, though.
No, Avalanche is solid. The amount of times I've taken 4 points of damage on your turn 1 and then just scooped because I can't do anything after. The
only reason I don't have it in A plus is because I think after you get your board set, there's not much else you can do but sit there.
Yeah, I put it above. I put it above Ice Lightning and above Scions.
I'm down for that. Bring it as high as you want, boys.
I put it above also, those two.
I'm fine with it because we also got Ilfana, which lets you play Barrett from your break zone.
Yeah. So I actually almost want to teeter an A plus, strictly because of the Ilfana. I hadn't read Ilfana, but when I made my original one I put an A minus. So I'm fine with you guys putting an A. Yep. I almost want to put an A plus after I read Ilfana because I think Ilfana opens up the deck so much more. Because the worst part in the deck is having somebody break your Barrett. And then, or later on, you have no Barrett and they miss Dragon your discard pile. So now it gives you the option to go, well, you're going to miss Dragon because you're trying to draw a card or do whatever. I'm just going to pay 4, tap, break, play this Barrett on the board, do cool thing. Barrett, switch out whatever cards I want in my hand, still do cool things. Yeah.
I have a way to protect my Barrett in the discard, and I really like that.
Yeah, that's the reason why I put it up there is because of that. And then because you can just, in one turn, just destroy Ice Lightning and destroy Scions.
The consistency is just nuts.
Yeah, you just destroy them in one turn, and now they're at a deficit, and it's hard for them to compete. It's very hard.
And everything I play is cheap, right? Yeah. I don't expend much to do it.
And your dudes are hard to kill. It's so hard to kill. That's why they're above them.
It almost feels bad to kill them, right?
Yeah, because then he just picks them back up and does it again, and they have haste anyways with Barrett.
That's why
you have to deal with Barrett, and then you have to make sure that here's the issue, right? So generally the game plan is keep Tifa off the fucking board. Okay, that's your number one goal because Tifa is the cheapest way to get Cloud out there because she searches for Cloud. And then if Tifa gets to stick on board, you damn sure better be ready to get rid of anything he puts in his break zone to play that Cloud so he can res it.
Which is why I like Ilfana.
Jesse and Biggs' nuts together, Biggs and Wedge are nuts together. Either any of those, even of the three of them, 2 of the 3 of them already make it hard for a lot of decks to handle. When
and
all
the new
3 of them are bored,
is a sneak hit, especially if you're playing Zangan. She's a brave that can attack twice. You can just sneak up your opponent with that.
Yeah.
Who?
The new Tifa.
I don't play it. I don't think it's
I know
good
you
enough.
don't, but I think you can.
I mean, I'm
That's a
not saying you
one-off.
can't. I just
Because
think consistency-wise,
she costs the
you lose
same
too
as
much.
every other one of your Avalanche theoretically, because
Yeah.
she costs 1 to play. I mean, it sucks that you have to pitch 2 cards, but like sometimes
She's
if
a
you're
very
going for the
neat
game,
if you play it as the last card in a turn.
Yep.
she's your pusher. What's this next one? Is it just Mono Fire?
This is Mono Fire. There's no good card to put for Mono Fire, and I think Squall's a good choice.
B plus.
That's it. I'm going B.
I think Mono Fire can beat Barrett Snaps.
Man, I think it can beat Bear Snaps, but I don't think it got enough things to beat what's in B in general, right? I think the consistency in Samurais is better. I think the consistency in
No, I think it does.
I think it's
Because you can still play
than-
Ifrit Ifrita combo and wipe a board.
I think it sits right next to Spellbooks, really.
I think it no.
I put it above the group of like Samurai Knights and stuff like that, because you don't in Mono Fire you just need 1 color, and those decks you need 2 colors, and
Plus,
so like
Mono Fire is also playing summons, which deal with Nyx.
and then you also have you have Ace, and you have Zidane, or you have Titus, and so like going Titus into Ace is just, you're just like, I'm ready. You can't. You have to play more than 1 forward this turn. If not, you're gonna.
I don't agree with it, but that's whatever. Where are we putting it?
I put it in B plus, but below Barrett Snaps, but above like this grouping of like Samurai Knights.
Again, your list is fucked up beyond belief, Oliver. Where are we putting it, Noah?
B plus.
Where?
Above Barrett, next to Folka.
Okay.
I think Folka and that are a little tied depending on how you do it. What's the next one?
This one is your Laswell Knights. Yep.
B or B minus?
I went B minus. I think it's I think it's either B minus or C for me. I think the Laswell inconsistency drops it a tier. That's what I had. That's the way I looked at it.
No complaints.
It's the same way I looked at a lot of the mono water builds. I think mono water still sits up in like A somewhere, and I think each of the different builds with their different consistencies drops it.
What's this next one?
Where are we putting this in B minus?
I put it above Sophie.
Above Sophie, got it.
Yeah.
Next one is Shijin. Shijin is going to be your wool soirees.
Oh, S.
Wool based soiree,
yes.
Yeah. And then Matametal is just soirees, not playing wool. Yeah. Also what I had.
It's been the most consistent deck to play in like the past 4 formats.
Even without wool. So
yeah.
I honestly don't think it even needs wool. I think you still play it, but I don't think it needs it. Ignis is a fucking nutty ad for this deck.
What's this next one? Just Black Mage?
This one is Black Mage base deck. We have X-Death later. This one you can add X-Death to part of the deck list if you want. But I have an X-Death deck.
It's gonna sound
over
weird,
here, so.
but I think a Black Mage deck is B plus material, because I think Black Mage has a very low floor. Actually, it has like a medium-esque floor, but a very high ceiling.
I think the high ceiling is
building.
true.
Especially in deck building.
I put it above
I have
the
B
grouping.
minus.
I have it above grouping. I have it above the grouping of that because it's the cross turn playability of Black Mage.
Yep.
You don't have to do everything that your deck wants to do on your turn. You can sit a turn and react to your opponent.
Uninteractability of 1 CP Zac and then pitching a Black Mage for 9k is really good.
It's pretty funny. The only reason I have this in B minus and not any higher.
Hyper. What's the word? Starts with the R. Out of your break zone.
Recursion?
Recursive.
That is the actual reason I have it at a B minus. I think the deck is way too dependent upon its discard pile.
Give me a B.
I think one Mist Dragon.
Give me a B.
Fucks the deck.
Give me a B.
Fuck. The problem is, I have it at B minus.
One Mist Dragon fucks a lot of decks up. Give me a B.
But it really fucks up Black Mages.
Not that hard though.
I think it does.
I mean, the only one it really fucks up is the 3-drop the lightning one. Otherwise, it doesn't matter as much.
It fucks over VV too. It can't recur.
Sure, VV can't pick up the 1 card.
But VV's like your main card you want to play because it picks up other things.
Yeah, but you're playing so many Black Mages, you're always going to pick something.
The problem I have is you still have that Golbez and B tier, and I hate it. And I think this is better than that Golbez, but I don't think it's better than Ninjas.
No, this is way better than Ninjas. The ability to break their low-cost
And like I said, in my opinion, I don't think it's better than Ninjas.
I think it's better than Ninjas.
I think Ninjas has more of a game plan than Black Mage does.
But James, you've seen me play the deck. Give me a B.
That's where the B is. Golbez and Ninjas are at B.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure we're staying there. All right, next one.
Where are we putting it? Where are we putting it?
Above Ninjas and Golbez.
Oh, and then stopping before Knights?
Yes. It does not beat Knights, in my opinion.
The reason I'm asking is if my list matches the list I'm looking at in my face right now matches your list because we're not streaming and I can't look at the list you have on screen. I need to make sure I'm matching your list so that way I see where we're at.
Okay. Next one. Is this Kyle's deck?
Basically lightning monsters, yeah. Lightning monsters.
B, it's a 50-50 crapshoot depending. No, B+.
Yeah. I was gonna say B-. I think it's really cool and I actually got a lot of cool pieces this set.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how those pieces work out before I throw it in B.
It's like Bart's Boko.
That's why I'm saying B-, sitting right around Bart's Boko.
Mono Water Leo, A+.
Where are we putting it?
Above Bart's Boko.
Okay. Mono Water Leo, I have it at
A+.
I have it at B+ next. I have it at B+ next to Folka.
Nope, A+.
I can't put it A+. I think this deck's way too dependent upon Sildra. And it lost Sildra.
No, but Mono Water Leo plays Larsa and it plays Thornton. It doesn't need Sildra.
It needs Sildra because it has to number fix.
And it plays Blue Worm.
It has to number fix. It's not about having dudes on board.
Fine,
it has to number fix.
A-.
I put it in A-.
I put it next to Folka.
Above Dragoons, but next to Magiisa.
I put it above Magiisa, but behind PPR.
Okay, I can do with that.
No, where'd you put it?
No, do it in between Magiisa and PPR.
Okay, so between Magiisa and PPR is Dragoons. Where am I putting it?
No, Dragoons is at the end.
Dragoons is at the end.
Dragoons at the end? Okay, that's where. Okay, never mind. Fixed it now.
Yeah.
Here's your Cat 10 deck.
Cat 10.
B-.
I don't even.
B.
I say B. I do think it's a bit better. It's very.
Here's the thing.
You know why Cat 10? You know why Cat 10 got better?
Why?
Owaka.
I don't think Owaka makes it better.
I'll give you B though. I'm fine with it in B. You're telling me Buddy into Owaka isn't good?
I think it's good. I don't think it moves it up an entire fucking tier.
Oh, I think it does. And we got the new Ject.
The new Ject I don't think makes it makes Cat 10 better. I think new Ject makes Mono Fire and Verstale better. And it's a cool target inside Cat 10, but I still think you play the other Ject.
Plus Cat 10 has one of the best searchers under Titus.
And one of the best color fixers under Reaper. I love this Waka.
I put it in the grouping of like Samurai and stuff like that. I think it can contend with them. It's just that's all you're doing. It's like you're Waka to do stuff like that.
I think the biggest problem it has is
you don't really have a boss monster.
Yep. I think the biggest problem is it sets up a really cool board, but that's all it does. It doesn't get too many things off. It doesn't.
It's funny. It's one of the most, besides Cat 13, it's one of the most thematic decks because everybody has a role to play in Cat 10. Except for Kamari, because they can't print a good Kamari card to save our lives.
It's really cool because it sets up a really neat board, but the neat board doesn't do anything.
We also got a new Orin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's a 50-50 between the two.
Yeah, I think if you're wanting to play more fire in it, I think you can play that Orin and the Ject and get away with it.
I'd rather play new Orin because the only piece you really don't want your opponents touching is Titus. But that's fine because Titus will go away, and then if like your Yuna goes away or your Lucy goes away, you just pick it up again and play it again. Like
between picking between the Orins, you still don't really have a boss monster.
Yeah, so like.
Where are we putting this?
I put
B,
it
above Spellbooks, but below Sky Pirates is where I put it.
I'm down with it.
Okay, next one, Turks, B+.
B+.
I'm fine with that.
Rufus, actually, as much as I shit talked it, but playing through it, it has changed my mind. As much as you've
been shit talking it beforehand.
Rufus, Rude, and Reno are really good.
Here's the thing. I was so tempted to put Turks into A-. Looking at it and looking at the new cards and seeing the consistency that the deck has, I'm just like,
hold on.
I'm at that cusp. I'm like,
hold on.
There,
James.
I'm there.
Turks is very consistent right now, correct?
Yes.
Very consistent. The consistency factor is good. It's got a really strong board presence. But
are you trying to help me push it into A-?
What's the one thing Turks is missing right now?
In my opinion, it's a boss monster.
Bam. And that's why it's a B+.
Yeah.
Where am I putting it?
I'm so
above Barrett Snaps, in my opinion.
See, behind Mono?
Maybe above Mono Fire, but I can't tell for sure yet.
Here's the. Tell me where I'm putting it.
Okay, in between Barrett and Fire.
Okay. If I will tell you, Noah, I did put in A-, only because I think the teamwork consistency is fucking banana sandwich by itself.
Dude, it's a pain. If they lock you down and then they're like, cool, I'm just gonna Rufus and Haymaker
here's the thing, Noah,
you're
shit. Playing the new Rude, right? You're playing that new Rude because you like the special, right? I don't think you play. I think you play the other Rude and tap down your opponent's fucking board because you can easily get 4 dudes out and it doesn't fucking matter.
Oh yeah.
And I think that to me is that at that point Rude sort of becomes your boss monster, but
the only issue is you don't have a kill con, so you have to play around having some sort of a kill con or a way to kill things.
Yeah,
you're not locking down at that point. You're just
if Turks ever like can somehow play like Behemoth K or something close to like that level of nuttiness, that's where I'm putting Turks in A-, if not A.
Could play Alcid.
Like it could because then you're swinging like
no, Alcid's obsolete. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Because Alcid's just gonna say on swing Dola dude, but your Rude already does that if you just swap the Rudes out.
Yep. Yeah. So like they need that one forward that like pushes them, so that way you can
we
play
need a new Elena.
No, let me see if I have my original list that I made with Connor. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone real quick. So
next one is Mono Wind.
Yep, I have it at A. For me.
Yeah,
I don't think it's as good as Ice Wind. That's why I think it's the same thing as like how I have it like dropped 1 below with like Knights and stuff.
Yep.
I think it's almost there. I think the only thing it's missing is boss monsters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like Locke is such a fucking nutty ass boss monster.
What's the next one? Oh, go ahead, Oliver.
I have Mono Wind at like top of A. Like it's there. It just needs like these 1 or 2 pieces, and it gets there. It can compete with all these A+.
They did get board wipes.
Yes, it got Fat Chocobo. Fat Chocobo is neat, but we need a dude that just we want on board because he's gonna mess him up every turn while the rest of our pieces deals with everything else.
Is the next one?
There.
Oh, it's just.
Except out there.
Well, I'm thinking of Earth Lightning X Death. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, you're thinking of Express X Death. Yeah.
B+.
I have a B+. I think it'll depend on what you play with your Earth package, but I just see it as like a Man in Black X Death backup break, like cool dude, and I think it's highly dependent upon your Man in Black, and then how quickly you can speed out your backups.
Yeah, I have it below. I have it below like Turks and stuff. Like
yeah. In between Turks and between
really
Barrett.
That's where I was thinking with it. I was just like, I'm looking
at all the decks. I'm just like, B+ lineup, but I think it's like general gist is where it sits. Is there?
Yeah. Okay. This next one's Glacialia Mono Water.
B.
B.
I have it.
Wait.
I have it
where I had mine, so that works.
I have it above Rampier, but below Spellbooks. And that's only because the crystal mechanic is so limited with what Glaciella wants to do. And like once they've run out of crystals, like Glaciella is not as good.
You said Mono Water?
Yeah, Mono Water.
Damn, if you just said Glacialia crystals, I would put it into B+ because you can play the new Cecil and Cat 4 shit.
You can still sort of do that.
Yeah.
The only cards that are worth playing in Mono Water right now are going to be Name Porum, and then the new Cecil. That's it.
Porum, Cecil, Ramada, Sarah Mobius, Lena.
But the thing is, Cecil says every time a Cat 4 enters, or he enters, you gain a crystal. I think it's once per turn on that.
Yeah.
But like,
but you're playing Mono Water, so you get to play. Porum. You get to play.
Water
Rosa, and a Rosa and a Iridia.
I'd say it's top of B with Kingsglaive, because I played against that deck with Kingsglaive numerous times, and like
I'm fine with it.
I
Here's
can't
the thing.
concretely.
I like from A- to B is for me. There are like 7 different style of water decks, mono water decks you can play right now, and they're all sitting at A- to B outside of the main just mono water. That I have in A+. So like,
which one's the mono water deck?
Lina, just
Oh, we're not there yet.
Lina's
Okay,
the
yeah. What's this next one? Just Cat 4?
This one's Cat 4. Whatever style you want to play, just Cat 4 base,
B+.
doing Cat 4 things. I think it's
Nope.
gonna be
Low B plus. Low B plus.
You think low B? I'm down with it.
Yeah. Only because Cat 4 has a lot of
unconfirmed.
synergy, but the issue with Cat 4 is that it's spread out in so many colors sometimes that it's a little wonky.
That's why I want to go in B. I think we're a little too unconfirmed to just push it to B+ right now.
Yeah. Okay, that's
think
fine.
it's
Top of B.
I'll top a B with you guys. Yeah, I can see it.
I'm guessing this is.
Here's the thing. I would go mid B. I think Cat 10 is already confirmed at its consistency, and I honestly, Cat 4 also has the same problem Cat 10 has, right now at least, where it doesn't have a boss monster. It doesn't have a thing that does its thing and controls the game. Maybe if you want to say the Cecil, I forgot what the Cecil does. But I don't think you play
I don't like that Cecil.
You play other Cecils. So like, I don't think it has a boss monster. It has a board it builds the same way Cat 10 does. So like for me, I would put it right next to Cat 10.
Okay, fair.
Okay.
Because it does the same thing Cat 10 does. It builds a really cool board, but you're not sure where you're going with it.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a bit better though because it does have access to Rydia.
I'll just go one above.
Yeah.
If you want.
One above 10.
One above. It'll be above Waka.
Yep.
Just one spot in front.
What is this?
So this is the slower Weiss style, without the need for Alcid or Zermis. B-. I don't
Hold on.
think
I just want to double check.
think
Is B- better than B?
No.
That's what I thought. B-.
I don't think slow decks win this format. I just don't.
No, I have it at the same level of like Verstale. Like,
I'm down with that.
it's like
I would put it behind Verstale because I don't think slow decks win the format.
Verstale has more of an explosiveness, while Weiss Narrow does not.
Verstale can keep up with the pace. I don't think Weiss Ice can.
Oh, Weiss Ice negs your opponent, while Verstale decks actually plus themselves sometimes. Like a lot of their dudes that they play plus themselves.
I think it's about the speed of the game.
Yep.
I think the speed of the game is what matters, and right now speed is the literal part of the game that matters, and I don't think Weiss Ice has that.
What's Theodore?
Theodore is aggro discard. Like the only game plan is your opponent has no cards in hand all the time.
C.
Yeah, also C. I honestly want to put it below Mannequins.
It is below Mannequins. It's cool, but it's not gonna keep. It's the
same thing
you're
as
both top
same thing as
decking.
Weiss.
At best,
It's the
you're
same
both
thing
top
as Weiss
decking.
Ice.
Yeah.
Same thing as Weiss
next
Ice.
one?
It all depends. Nyx is just Yuffie.deck. I'm counting it basically as the idea is we're just playing a cool deck that plays Yuffie and controls the game.
B-.
Versus like Barrett Snaps. Yeah, B- is where I had mine.
Top of B- because Yuffie's nuts.
Ooh. Yeah,
Yuffie's a nuts boss monster.
I would put it before Laswell, after Dancers, only because the other three at least have team synergy, where Yuffie's just Yuffie.
You have Laswell before Dancers?
No, I'm saying
Oh,
Yuffie before
after
Laswell.
Dancer. Okay.
After Dancers, because at least Dancers, Boko, and Rain.
On attack Dancers can deal with Yuffie, yeah.
Well, they have team synergy. I'm just by themselves.
Oh, yeah.
The decks function without other needs. Where like the next two behind this Yuffie would be Laswell, which is more dependent upon itself, and Sophie, which is more dependent upon itself, and then Rampier, which is also going to be dependent upon itself. Right?
Next
they're
one
all singularly dependent, and Yuffie's just better.
is Riku.
Riku multicolor. Yep.
C.
C as well.
Top of C.
It's the coolest fucking deck though. I'm gonna tell you, in my opinion, it is the coolest fucking deck on this tier list. I really believe that. It is a very, and here's the thing, it's straightforward about it. It's like I'm playing multicolors while playing a monocolor backups lineup.
Yeah.
Fuck with me if you want. It knows how cool it is.
Yeah.
But it also knows it's not.
It's so telegraphed. Like, you know what their game plan is, so like you just have to respond to it.
If you deal with Riku, the deck kind of falls.
Yep.
Yeah.
so it's too easy to pick apart. But it is,
But
but because of Riku, it gets more consistency
high.
than the others. Yeah.
Oh my
Its
god,
ceiling
its
is
floor,
so fucking cool.
its floor and ceiling is like the widest margin out of all these decks. Like it can either be like you're playing the worst game of your life and you see all 3 Rikus head into damage, or you have a Riku that has stayed on board since turn 2 and has been netting you value after value after value and responding to your opponents every turn and telling your opponent suck it.
Yeah.
It's saying the first 3 turns you did nothing but build cool backups, and then for the rest of the game you do nothing but draw multicolor with no Riku on board and no way to fix it.
Yeah. Like
That's your ceiling to floor.
Next one is Cat 8.
Yep, Cat 8. In my opinion, this is a C.
Nope. B.
No?
I think there's a lot of cool combos you can do. I think hitting yourself in the face is bad.
I put it at B-.
I think hitting yourself in the face is a trap.
Well, so hitting
Hey,
yourself
you
in the
play
face
Bosch,
might
what
be
do
the
you
trap, but the thing to
Yeah,
not
I
forget
played
is
one card that
this
hits me in the face.
Cat 8 is usually going to play your Stola as well, meaning any damage you take or your opponent takes is 4K on something. Plus, if you
They're
take
gonna
damage,
have really cool turns. I'm not saying they don't.
if you take damage with Cypher on board, you can give one of your dudes 2K in haste. So you're probably taking a point a turn at best at that point, because your opponent's not going to want to deal with a 9K.
I'm just saying, they'll have very cool turns and they can board wipe. I just think hitting yourself in the face for damage is going to be way too inconsistent to warrant putting it above a bunch of these other things.
Well, so it's hitting yourself for the more aggressive factor of gaining haste, but you also pick a dude up. So like, Cypher's a one-drop that says give something haste and grab a dude.
It is the epitome of what like lightning firestorm is, or the best it can be with that style. I'm just saying, if it whiffs harder than every other. It whiffs harder than Riku whiffs. It whiffs harder than every other deck on this list.
I've played,
outside of maybe Tax.
Maybe you've seen it, but like the games I played with Chris. Granted, I was playing a super good deck at that time. But like it was able to keep up to some degree.
I got it. I have the reason I think is going to give it in C tier.
Okay.
It has the highest ceiling of competitive play, like playing the deck by itself, than every other deck on this list. Outside of maybe Mono Wool, but only that's because color fixing a 4-color deck is weird.
You said it has the highest ceiling?
Highest floor, sorry. Has the highest floor of any deck on this list. Because hitting yourself in the face is so volatile.
Okay, that's
fair. You
have
to know what you're doing. Yeah. If you don't know what you're doing with this deck, you're going to lose 9 times out of 10 unless you go hot.
In between Cadets and Riku.
I was fine putting it above Riku. I'm fine with that. It's just, I think it's highly dependent. I just don't think base player is going to be able to play this deck at a B- or higher level. I think competitively, this has the possibility of sitting in A+, A- at a good deck. If you know how to hit the damage, you can do cool like what is it? Seymour Fusoya things that hit yourself with damage, do cool things. I just think that ceiling's just too. That floor's too low to start.
You're also not dependent on your boss monster as much as Riku. Cypher is a cool piece that you play because he can do cool things, but you don't need to play Cypher every game in order to or you don't need to have Cypher on the board every turn, because you can also play like Light Squall on that deck, and Light Squall is another boss monster for that deck.
I do think you have to play Ishtola though almost every game, which is a little frustrating.
You do. Yeah. Next one, Lena. Mono Water Lena.
A+.
A+.
I think Sildra drops it down from S to A+. That's it.
That's fair. Yeah, Sildra does disagree.
I actually put Mono Water Lena behind Icewind Storm.
I think
if that makes any difference.
I'm fine with that too.
We lost Sildra. I hate it, but we lost Sildra.
Here's the thing: it's still one of the best decks in the format.
Yep.
There's still a lot of draw power.
It can still easily compete with S tier. I just think S tier has a walk in the park, where A+ is kind of going for a light jog, right?
Yeah.
And I'm fine putting it behind Icewind too, only because speed of the format I think matters, and I think this next format is gonna be a quicker format than I think Water will be able to handle without Sildra.
Next one is Ultimecia, D tier. And I play
That's
Ultimisia.
fine. I'm gonna put it in front of Sid though, because I think Ultimisia is cooler than Sid.
Yep.
Well, so she has a bit more
I think they're the
cohesiveness
same
to her
thing.
than Sid, but the issue with Ultimisia is a tax, but the issue with Ultimisia is that she's a dark card.
I think she plays better ahead. That's it.
Here's the thing. I think an Ultimisia solo deck is garbage.
Yeah.
But if you
Ultimisia
if you tech Ultimisia into some of the certain decks that are like going from B- to like above, then she becomes a neat piece for some of those decks because some of those decks that want to stay ahead, you can then play this card and it helps you stay ahead at some point.
Here's where Ultimisia actually would do pretty okay in if you could fit her in for stale because you're already overpaying.
Yep.
So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, because for stale you usually want to play 2 or 3 backups.
You're playing a bunch
and then
of 5
you're on
costs.
then you're there. And because you're playing a lot of 5 costs, now it's 6, so you were still gonna pitch.
It doesn't feel.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel bad to overpitch now.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only problem is then like those Verstale decks also don't get Dark Emperor, which I think Dark Emperor is an infinitely better card for Verstale themselves.
It just means you hold your Dark Emperor, which isn't
Can you
terrible
hear
either. I think we lost Noah again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, cool.
Get a little quiet.
Am I better?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay. Ultimisia's biggest loss or biggest detriment is that on both of her like static field abilities, she says backups aren't affected, which I think is dumb. I think backups should be affected by the damage 5 ability. That's the whole point. Ultimisia's like that's the point of the card in my opinion, but whatever. D tier. She's not good enough. D tier.
Axar 3s?
Yeah.
Dang.
Because you don't play Axstar 3s, you play Axstar and Magiisa.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with putting in D. No consistency. I do think it might be better than WOFF though. I think it's top of D right now.
Yeah.
I think it has cooler targets. I don't think WOFF. The problem is WOFF doesn't have. I don't think has anything going for it but rain. And I think Axstar 3s can get away with playing other things.
Next one is Fran.
Hey.
Yeah, I agree.
Which one? Which one's that?
Fran. Tri-Pirates.
Tri-Pirates.
Oh, okay.
Tri-Pirates or Cat 12, however you want to look at it. I just call it Tri-Pirates because I named it.
So
I'm coining it Tri-Pirates. No one can steal it. I'm copyrighted. Everyone pay me money if you use it.
I think
you can send that to the patreon.com/TCGU University.
I have it. Actually, looking at it again because I had the wrong cards in the wrong place. I have Fran above Ice Lightning, but below Scions.
I'm fine with that.
I think between those two, Fran Sky Pirates is a lot better because you play a more aggressive game than Zeramus, but you're not as consistent in your Sky Pirate package, and also there's not as many different decks you can play Fran Sky Pirates in rather than Scions, which Scions you can play like a bunch of different stuff in. Yeah. And then obviously those 3 are below Avalanche because Avalanche is just nuts on its own.
Nutty. I hella just wish I could put in A+, but I just don't think it has enough right now.
You just need a couple cards, and I think it gets there.
I think Alfana may. I think I need more playtesting, but I think Alfana might push it, but we'll see. Next is Retainers. I have this at A as well.
A-.
You think it's A-?
Yeah.
I think it's top of A-.
Yeah.
I think.
Top of that?
Yeah.
I'm down to put it above Magiisa. I think it does a similar thing Magiisa does, but just slightly better.
The reason cool thing about Retainers is the fact that once per turn, every time you play a dude with Noctis on board, you spike something. But the bad part about Retainers is Noctis is a 4-drop 7k.
Also, you don't have as many different Retainers that you can play that don't name clash.
I was gonna say that's the other thing is.
So that's why
I mean that doesn't actually impact you as much realistically because you're only you only need to you have 3 different retainer names, but you have multiple different targets depending on how you want to play the deck. But the search is cool. The biggest part is that if you're gonna play retainers, you're playing you're playing wind earth retainers, so you can abuse earth cards and their high power as well, and wind cards and their flexibility.
Like Gladius.
Yeah, I put it at the top of A- because I don't think it gets to A yet. It's missing a couple pieces for it to go to A, so that way it can contend with like Alcid Zeramus, Sky Pirates, and stuff like that. You're just missing a couple pieces to get into that tier.
I think it's missing like 1 card, personally.
I think it also runs into the same problem the one reason I'm upset about Avalanche is Avalanche, Sky Pirates. Honestly, a lot of the decks when you hit like B+, and outside of Magiisa, A in general, is once your board's cemented, you don't do anything else. So like if your board doesn't get through your opponent's board, you're kind of at a stalemate until somebody does something else.
And the best way for you to get through somebody's power forward is by using Gladiolus, which only matters if Noctis is on board. He's too much of a lightning rod linchpin that if he's like sacked off, like the deck can function, but it hurts.
Yeah.
It does the same. It has the same effect that Avalanche has, which is Gladiolus is really cool, but you're not going to touch it because it does the same thing has the same effect on board game wise that Cloud has, which is if you take that off the board, it's going to come back in and it's going to be cool again. Like it just.
Yep.
Okay.
Next one.
So next one, I use the Vincent. It's basically, this is just stun deck. The idea is we're gonna ice wall stun you down.
C.
Yep. C.
Not consistent enough for a full stun deck yet.
Yep.
Below Cadets.
I put it right next to Theodore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. What is this next one? Summoners. A+.
Summoners.
Well,
I have this at A-.
Hold on. A. It's A+ with Syldra. It's an A without Syldra. Because summoners can handle any of these decks in A without a problem.
Yep. I personally playing into summoners, they have a lot of responses they can do, and you can even change your tech
responses.
Yeah.
You can change mid-game.
Yeah,
you can change mid-turn.
I changed it. I put it above Avalanche because with summoners in A, your turns can be different in every game. Like your game plan changes in every game. Avalanche, you're straightforward. This is your goal. This is what you're going for. This is what you're doing.
Like Summoners has a goal, but once it's board cemented, it moves around so much after it cements the board, it doesn't even matter.
I don't think it's better than Avalanche or Scions, but I do think it's better than everything else in A.
I can go with that, but I'm just saying, it's planned into those other two decks. It can play into them, and I think if you're doing that, all three of those decks are they're in that order, but they're really close. Like it's so close that I
think the only reason I want to do that is because I think if you take care of the board that's on the Sky Pirates, the Ice Lightning, and the Wind, Wind may have the ability to come back, but it doesn't play defense, so Wind just dies if you reset the board. But for Ice Lightning and for Sky Pirates, if you reset the board state, they don't easily rebuild. But I think if you reset the board state with Avalanche and Scions, they can easily rebuild. And I think Summoners get the most advantage from resetting and slowing the game back down. I just don't think they can get that advantage from Scions or Avalanche.
Okay, I can also see it because Avalanche can just beat the face of Summoners back in.
I mean, and honestly, we were talking about, I think you could do Sanctuary Keeper and get the same face beat in with Lightning, Water, Scions too, because you can just I'll play a Stola, tap my dude to give haste to this other dude, or I'll restand it. Cool, I'll swing with both these hasters real quick. With Sanctuary Keeper.
The haste is the biggest detriment to it.
Yep.
Okay, I can see it.
But
I can see it.
Well, I guess you're not playing. No, it wouldn't matter as much. Okay. Next one.
I think they have a better chance if Summoners gets the lead, but I think it's very hard to get a lead versus these two decks comparatively. So I think that's just it.
Maybe
I think they keep up too well.
You open with a Sarah, you're already ahead in my opinion.
The 4-drop Water Sarah?
Yeah, the backup searcher.
Not terrible.
Because you get your color fix instantly.
I mean, my Avalanche color fix is real fucking fast.
Well, so your Avalanche requires Elf, and then but the issue is, I can get my color fix on turn 1 and then still play things on turn 2 with no issue with 2 backups. Your color fix generally tends for you to play Elf and then grab a 4-drop backup or something for something and pass. Yeah.
So usually the way I've been working on to try and get it to be
Polk.
nutty
But if you grab
fast.
Polk, at that point you're using both the you're playing Polk and you're tapping the elf to use Polk.
Polk's always a turn 2, so like.
That's what I'm saying. Polk is a 3 cost, so you're tapping elf and pitching 1 to recoup a card and play the Polk, which means that's your turn 2. So Tifa doesn't come online yet, meaning I still have another turn to respond to her.
Oh yeah, turn 3 is going to be the big turn on. Do you have an immediate answer for what I'm about to do?
Yep.
And the other issue is just like, I don't think Tifa's the problem with this scenario. I think the problem summoners have is not keeping Tifa off the board. It's once Tifa's off once, how do you keep it off consistently enough to where I don't get to go off? Because the problem I don't have is summoners keeping it off for a turn or something, right? You can buy a turn with summoners.
Well, that's the issue though. Buying a turn with summoners can completely change the game.
I'm saying it can't. I'm not saying it can't. I'm just saying if you even do reset the board state with either of these decks, they have the consistency to rebuild it instantly without losing too much advantage or...
Plus, I will say one of the biggest detriments to Avalanche is not having the Earth backup to make sure that your guys actively cost 1. And if I slap an Une down, have fun playing that backup again because you're going to need it.
Yes, actually, I think with the Alfana, I think it's going to be a lot easier. I'm really excited.
She's not super searchable. She's not searchable, but she is still nice to have. So yeah.
Oh yeah. I played 3 Polk and I'm playing 2 of her because she plays Barrett. So like, I want to test the consistency.
Is this next one Golbez?
Next one is Warp Bez. Yeah.
Above it's too high rolly. It's right around where Verstale is, above Verstale, because it's a bit more consistent.
I almost want to put it above Mobius, almost. Only because I think Warp is almost uninteractable.
Sure, that is it. The issue is this is still too high rolly. Like you have to draw the cards to be able to play the cards.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not.
I'm putting it in between Mobius and Verstale.
I'm down for it.
Personally.
Whatever. I'm down for it.
Your highs are better than Verstale, but your floor of like how low it can get can be worse.
Your floor is terrible.
Is it any Madine deck?
Yeah.
Yeah, the next one's just Madine.
Better than Samurai. That's where I stop.
I don't know, because I think it...
Madine flat B.
I mean, I'm still sold on Madine being the A- deck, but I'm down for B above Samurai's.
We just haven't seen enough to really want to go that high with it. I'm not too comfortable.
The only ones playing are me, you, and Oliver.
As much as I want to hype the fuck out of this fucking card. It's better than Samurai's. Honestly, it might be better than Glacialia. Madine as a card, right? If Madine wasn't a light card and didn't require light forward, it would be infinitely better than any card in this game.
It's better than here's the thing. Madine by itself is better than everything in B, right?
Yeah.
Just like I'm saying, like a mid. Like here's the thing. I think light's the only thing that puts it behind this, only consistency wise.
Here's the thing.
I want to put it above Nyx because Nyx can't do anything about Madine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think Madine is like the Ultimecia at that point. You can play a straight up Madine deck and it can do good. It can do well. But I think it gets its full value out of decks that are already playing like light forwards and that like you're playing a 1-copy Madine just because it's a good response summon that's a 1-drop that says if this light forward's on board, you do a cool thing.
You need a consistent way to get rid of it, but yeah.
Echidna.
It is very good.
Yep.
Next one is Ice Earth Monsters.
Ice Earth Monsters.
B+.
Bulbasaur Control. I'm fine with back of B.
Probably gets above X Death. I say B+.
You think it's above X Death?
Yeah.
I also really
why?
like Avalanche, but that's me.
Because monsters are almost uninteractable.
I guess that's true.
Yep.
But X Death is character.
That's fine. I know X Death is character, but the issue is one, I can keep popping these dudes out of my break zone whenever I want because the recursion factor is insane. And two, like board wipes don't matter to me. X Death is still very easy to take care of with the monsters that I have available as well.
Yep.
Ariman just says break X Death. Bulbasaur says break X Death.
YKT says they're low on hand, break X Death.
Yep.
And then I'll scry too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
To break myself again. Like it's Ice Earth Monsters has so much variability.
3 hours?
Yeah. 2 hours, 33 minutes. We're almost there. I'm trying to get this done before the 3 hour mark. What's this next one?
Une.
Just Une?
Yeah, Une.deck, whatever you want to play it as.
A+.
I think it's A+. The only two things I had in mind.
I don't want to call it Une.deck. Can we just call it Water Earth?
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. A+.
I think Water Earth is literally just summons and Earth Water good shit, but I think Une is a good way to describe it. Because it's the same thing as like Doga.
I was talking about this earlier. What you can do now, in my opinion, is you just play Cecilridia Une and you just sit there. And you just recur summons and pop dudes off board with Fanfrit.
Yeah. I put it...
You try to find Sophie and just keep it on board.
Yep.
Yeah, I put it...
You literally are playing Doga 2.0. I've been talking about this.
I put it behind Lena and White Ice Wind Storm is because both of those decks can have like higher turns. Like they're higher variance turns. You're having more consistent turns with Une and like being able to like pitch CP, do cool things and stuff like that. But
I think the ceiling is higher for Une. But I think the floor is everything is raised, which makes it harder to play. But at a peak level, I think at a peak level it plays at S.
Yeah, it can play against all these other decks.
But I think at a bad level it drops to like B.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Water drops to like A- at a bad level and pumps up to S. So like,
yeah. So that's where I put Une at.
Just anything that can exploit wool.
I'm just gonna put this next thing up all the way at the top, and we're gonna ignore it.
Cool.
Yeah.
What is this? 13 Fire Lightning?
Yeah, 13 Fire Lightning.
A-.
A+.
I put it at A.
I had it at A+. Only because I had it at the same level as I had Cat 6. A+ because it's this. I think Fire Lightning is the Fire Lightning or Fire Lightning 13 is the epitome of a glass cannon. It's either gonna just one shot kill you, and you're gonna have no chance of fucking doing anything.
You know what?
Or you're gonna fucking drop it.
I leave with A-. So here's why I say A-. It can beat everything, and it will have a little bit of a rough time contending with retainers, right? In the A- category. When you bump it up to the A category that we have set right now, it will lose to Scions, it will lose to Summoners, it will lose to Avalanche, in my opinion, just because they set up either maybe a turn slower, but they put guys out that will deal with their board, and it gasses its hand out too quickly. Ice Lightning will
top of A-.
will lock it down.
Top of A-.
Yeah, top of A- is fine. Ice Lightning locks it down. It does beat Mono Wind because Mono Wind's too slow, but like that's just a silver
Mono
bullet
Wind's
card.
kind of like the same thing as it anyway, so
yeah.
It just plays the game slightly.
So is this the Fire Ice variant?
This one is the whatever ice variant. Yeah. If
Fire
it's fire,
ice?
I don't know what the second one is.
If it's Fire Ice, it's an A.
I think this is B. I actually think it's just B. I don't think it's. Here's the thing. I don't think this build is better than the Storm build. I don't.
The Storm. You mean the
Fire Ice, Fire
Lightning.
I don't think it's better than the basic Lightning build.
I think it is.
Only because it's slower. I think the speed of the format will matter more than anything else.
This isn't a super slow thing though. So here's where I stand with it is, it might seem slower, which is fine, but it sets up better, and it literally probably this is a deck that just goes for an OTK turn if it wants to. The other one can't do that efficiently. This one can.
Snow is a nuts card.
Snow is nuts. That's why I'm saying B+. I think.
B+.
So here's the thing. I think Lightning, if it wants, I think Fire, if it wants, can play into the S tier range, but also drops all the way down to D tier. I think it is literally the glass cannon. It plays from top to bottom in this tier list, but it's most consistently sitting at A-. I think this deck plays very well above everything in B and doesn't drop below like B itself, and can still play up to S. I don't know if it plays well above A, right? I don't think it plays higher than A in general. But that's the only reason I have Fire above it, is strictly because I think the Fire build can play into S tier, and I don't think the Ice build can.
I think the Ice build is.
I don't think the Ice build teeters above A+.
We haven't really seen results with this build either. So
everybody's playing the more aggressive.
Honestly, I don't think I've seen results with either of them. I think we hear more about the other one because everyone's scared of it.
One of the first, I think it was the first Materia Cup over in the UK was one with a Fire Lightning build. And then Fire Lightning topped at Australia. And then 6-1 Australia.
I think people are more scared of the fire build only so we hear more about it.
Yeah, well, that's because the ice build is the more consistent and probably the sturdier build for sure. But the Fire Lightning being so volatile and being able to the whole thing that makes Fire Lightning scary is that
it hits you really hard, really
fast. It deals a
fast.
lot of damage quickly, but it gasses out so fast. And the whole it's a mind thing with your opponent. You're like, oh, they just hit me for fucking 4. I guess I just lose the game. But it's like play like a couple forwards and deal with one of their dudes, and they're done.
It is the epitome of a glass cannon. It hits you really hard, really fast. But if it doesn't kill you in the 2 to 3 turns, it loses, and that's fine.
Next one is Chocobos.
Where are we putting it?
Oh, I put it in. I put the Ice Fire one in B+ in between Fire and Turks.
Okay.
Actually, I lied. I think Turks is more consistent. So in between.
Monsters and Turks.
No, in between Barrett Snaps and X Death right now, because I haven't seen enough.
Where we put the Fire one at top of A-?
Top of A-.
All right, I'm fine with that.
Chocobos, D tier.
D tier.
Unfortunately.
I will put it. I think Wind has a lot of cool things. I want to put it above Axstar 3s.
Yeah.
I think it's
probably
at the top
the most
right
consistent D tier deck. Next one is just Tifa deck.
Yes, this
Tifa
one is the only
clear speculation.
This is the only one where I don't think it actually has a spot on this tier list.
D tier.
I really don't. For me, I made a special tier specifically for it when I made my list.
I put it for B because it's in the middle of the tier list, and I was like, it can go anywhere. So like for now, it's here. I think the theories on it are a little too inconsistent for it as of right now. So that's why I don't put it that high.
Here's the thing. I don't think this thing reaches.
No.
I personally don't think this reaches above a C. I don't think it ever reaches above a C. But if anybody makes it consistent, it's going to hit S tier. There's no way it doesn't. You build around making sure the combo happens, and if you are able to really build it, and people built Wool when we said it wasn't probably going to be a thing, if they build it to happen and they make it consistent, it will hit S tier easily. That's the only problem I have with this fucking card is I want this card gone, only so I don't have to fucking hear about people going, could you do an OTK with Tifa?
I mean, you could.
Into SpongeBob meme?
Yeah.
What I imagine. So this is just off the top of my head. What I imagine is you play the game on setup mode and then Paradise for a turn and just kill. Like you play, you set up, you put a Wool down. That way you can go into attacks and be like, oh yeah, your EX burst won't fuck up my Tifa, and then you OTK him off of Paradise.
Your Odins don't mean anything.
Yeah. Next one is FFCC.
Yeah, FFCC.
Base B. It's very cohesive, but it doesn't have a boss, so it's right around Cat 4, Cat 10.
I think its bosses are Chalinka, Yuri, and they just don't let you play the game. Like, that's just what it is.
Here's the thing. I want to say it's below Sky Pirates.
It is below Sky Pirates.
It has a way to get dudes off board, which is the only reason I want to put it above 4, and I want to put it above 10. It has an easy way of getting dudes off board. Yeah.
Or semi-consistent, I guess.
I don't think it builds the boards. I don't think it beats the board states of like Sky Pirates, Samurais, and all them.
Nope.
That's just it. I do think it. Like I do actually think it breaks the boards, but I just don't think it gets through it.
Yeah.
So that is our tier list. I guess
I came up with 2 other ones. If you want to go through and just say where you guys want to put them.
Sure.
Which is Fire, Wind, Storm.
I
also kind of think it's B-. If we get a cool boss monster, I think it jumps up to A with the rest of them. Yeah. But I think that's it.
I think your demon is your boss monster.
Noah, I want you to know, and Oliver can attest to this, we do some pretty fucking cool shit. It just doesn't go anywhere.
I think demon is your boss monster.
It might be, but we'll see. The only issue is the boss monster for Ice, you practically play for free, and you just get more consistency out of Mono Wind with board state clearing wise. You don't really get that in Fire Wind. And then the other one is Mono Ice Cat 6, which I think is different than just Cat 6 in general.
It is. Mono Ice Cat 6 I'd probably put an A-.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. Yeah. I mean, I think I would put it I think I'd put it an A+ next to the other Cat 6 deck, but that's just me. Yeah. That was Because I couldn't think of anything else. We'll have to make another list to add what we forgot. Because I think separating a couple of these will matter later for the next format, for the next set.
Yeah, so this is the tier list, ending Opus 19, going into Opus 20.
19 going into 20 after we've seen a full set.
Yep.
Versus knowing what the meta is. We haven't had a single like full tournament, full big size tournament outside of like a locals.
Nope.
Yeah. So this is just the speculation on what we know of what's in the set and what we've seen from the last format.
And there could always be more decks that pop up too.
Oh,
that, like,
I'm hoping so. I want to make this tier list as big as possible so we run 4 hours.
Hey James.
Huh.
What's the funny similarity between 3 of the decks in S tier right now?
They play wool.
They play wool.
Well, 2 of them play wool.
But they can all play wool. Except for
6.
At 6.
Well, that's why I made the speculation of the Shijin. The Shijin is Soiree wool, where the other one's just base Soirees.
Oh, I guess.
That's why so it's just 2. Fuck you guys.
Which is 50%.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is 50%. I understood.
We teched in a wool in the soiree deck.
Technically, Une could play wool too.
Yes. I understood what was immediately going to happen, which was, I think Soirees have 2 different builds. So I went, this immediately needs to be a thing.
You know, technically Wind Earth could play wool too.
Technically Fire and Water could play wool too. Who fucking gives a shit? Fuck off.
All right.
Let me throw 12 decks into this because they can play fucking wool.
I gotta wrap this up or I'm gonna pass out.
Any mono wind deck can play wool. You drop Cecil, you play wool. Fuck you guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe.
Check the links in the comments.
Tell us what you think of the tier list. This is, I think, our first time like actually going through like a full-on tier list.
If you got to the end of the podcast, let us know.
I know, yeah. We're 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
I want to see how many people got to the end of the podcast. Also, because we're, what is it? Let me check. As of recording, I'm going to pull it up real quick.
Oh, we dropped. But we might pick up after today. It happens.
We dropped to 3,810 watch hours. And 190 watch hours, we can actually finally monetize our videos.
We can start pulling money in.
Please, watch them all.
Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed.
We start pulling in them pennies.
James, go ahead.
Stay alert.
Deuces.